Welcome, and a prime evening to all of you. I'm Thunderbird Prime, Master of VTuber, and tonight we're continuing the Girls Frontline 2 Zucchero Cafe event. Because it was taking way too long last night. I had to do all the supply missions, or as many as I could. But hey, time to collect these. Feedback wall. Hey. What are we missing here? Oh. We're not missing anything. Look at that. C+. No, not the coding language. Now it's time to do some puzzle shenanigans. Alright. How much puzzle shenanigans can we do? Yeah. The answer is quite a bit. Okay, okay. Now that I actually have to use some, like, puzzle tech. This isn't gonna go as smoothly as I thought. We have to do some shenanigans. Okay, okay. If my voice sounds a little hoarse, it's because I had a rough day at work today, okay? Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Combo! Alright. Okay, move that, move that. Move that up, move that up. I'm doing some insane shenanigans here. Wow. Look at that. Oh, we're not even done. There's more. Okay, let's do it again. My puzzle brain is on fire. I'm trying to do as much as I can here. Look at that. Boom. But wait. Now we need to make more room. Okay, okay, okay. We're cooking here. We're cooking here. Bro is cooking here. Oh, we are cooking here. Look at that. Boom. Who let bro cook? I let bro cook. Do we haven't? That's the only one we have left. Boom. Okay, I get it. You want me to combine these ones. Shit. I may have messed up there. Okay. Okay, fine, fine. We'll do this. And what else can we combine? Nah, we'll leave those. We'll leave those for now. Look at that. Look at that. Easy. Oh, we're a couple short, but I'll buy some just in case. Now, what can we make? Ooh. There we go. Let me just get something to drink right now. Get some variety in here. Alright. Now to continue the story. Baptism of memory. You are the most precious thing in these neural logs. What? The game just shut down! What the hell? Alright, hang on. Doom, 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 doom. Alright. I don't know what was happening here. I don't know why the game just suddenly shut down. I wasn't doing anything unusual. I love listening to Sentorasi's voice. Alright, Zucchero Cafe. Please, let's not have another shutdown. Another crash. Please, no more crashes. Alright, here we go. I'm sitting in the corner of the cafe, slowly sampling the coffee Sentorasi has just brought me. After returning from the safe house, I had a loud and lively meal with the dolls, the first one in a long time. Sentorasi and Springfield served up a sumptuous feast, and then the dolls and I had a long discussion about the past. Springfield told me about how the Zucchero was founded, while Diane recalled the adventures of Monsoon as they traveled between the satellite cities. Sentorasi did her best to serve everyone, while Jiang Yu and Zhao Hui were about to put on an impromptu performance for us, only to remember that their instruments and luggage were still at the train station. Springfield helped them contact the local authorities, and when they learned that the missing items would be shipped over to them, they were so happy that they dragged out Sharky's stage to sing an off-key song. We cleared the tables once we were done eating, or rather, they did. I tried to help, but they shooed me away, leaving me no choice but to find a corner to sit down in. As the night wears on, the lights in the buildings outside gradually go out, and the clamor from outside the windows slowly quiets down. I hold an exquisite mug in both my hands, savoring the warmth and fragrance of the coffee inside it. The sensation was commonplace 10 years ago, but for me now, it is a rare and precious thing. After all, this is the first time I've been reunited with my dolls after so long. My heart fills with mixed feelings as I watch them hard at work. While it's been a long time since it happened, I can still clearly remember the looks on everyone's faces when I announced that I was quitting Griffin. The confusion, the shock, the worry, and the protests. But at that time, I was utterly powerless. I couldn't even give them an acceptable explanation for what I had done. What makes me feel even more guilty is the fact that even after all this had happened, after meeting everyone again, not a single one of the dolls has come over to ask this question. Why did you leave, Commander? It seems everyone still has that same unconditional trust in me, considering how easily they accepted the answer I gave, the one that couldn't even convince myself. In that case, what right do I have to stand in front of everyone like this now, acting as though nothing had happened? Springfield helps Sentorasi return the dishes into the cabinet, then glances towards me. Apparently, she noticed the complicated look on my face, because she undoes her apron and walks over to my table before sitting down opposite me. What's wrong, Commander? You seem uncomfortable. Yeah. I feel a little conflicted. Is it because of Melanie? Yeah. Well, that's part of it. As for the rest, Springfield continues watching me, and I can't continue speaking for a while. Would you mind if I ventured a guess? Go ahead. It feels like you're avoiding us, just a little. You didn't say much while you were eating either. Is there something you wanted to say just now, but couldn't? I take a deep breath, trying to gather up the courage to get the words out. I'm sorry. This apology had been far too long in coming, and I should have said it in front of everyone. But when I finally managed to build up the courage to face my past, the others didn't give me a chance to say it. You're sorry? Why are you apologizing, Commander? As I look at Springfield's smiling face, I realize that she understands everything. Yet, the fact that she's asking this question despite knowing the answer is strangely calming. I try to gather my thoughts and say what I've been keeping in my heart all this time. I'm sorry for leaving, and I'm sorry for that damn agreement. I pause, and after thinking for a bit, I continue speaking. I always thought that signing that agreement and leaving Griffin back then was the only choice I could make. I knew it might not have been the best choice, but if it meant everyone could be safe, that you'd have a future, then it was a price that I could gladly pay. Springfield keeps watching me, waiting for me to continue. You know, I actually felt kind of relieved when I first came to the Yellow Zone. I guess it's a sign of how useless I am. I was arrogant enough to think that this was the way to give everyone a better future, and that I could escape from those inconvenient realities that I didn't want to face. I knew it was wrong, of course, but I couldn't muster up the courage I used to have in order to fight for what I knew was right. A lot of people died, yet I'm still alive, and the only reason why I survived is because countless dolls gave their lives for me. But do those sacrifices even mean anything? I haven't found the answer to that yet. And so, I've drifted through this chaotic world for the past 10 years, trying to find an answer that would put my heart at ease, that would prove I hadn't chosen wrongly. But the more I looked, the more lost I felt. I thought that turning my back on war meant that I would no longer be used. I thought that giving up what power I had would give everyone peace. But it was all pointless in the end. Oh yes, I was no longer being used, but that was because I was no longer of use at all. And even after giving up my rank and position, the mere fact that you were associated with me put you all in danger. In that case, what even was the point of giving it all up in the first place? You heard what I told Melanie just now. Even though I killed William with my own hands back then, Paradeus is still going strong and still using innocent people in their inhumane experiments. And as for me, by giving up everything, I lost the power to change anything. You know, back in the day we used to be able to send choppers wherever to deploy like 25 T-dolls at once. Even did it for the sake of certain senior of mine. Nowadays, Mailing's got to scrounge up screws to turn them into nuts and bolts. After seeing all this, I really wanted to ask myself, hey, what the hell are you even doing? You made your choice, but you keep second-guessing yourself. Does someone like this even deserve to be called a commander? Do you think you're a URNC big shot who can get elected just by keeping a low profile? In the past, I still had the strength to change something, but now all I can do is endanger you for the sake of putting up some petty resistance. And that is the only thing I can do. I pour out all the things I've kept in my heart for all this time. Springfield continues listening until there's nothing more to listen to. I raise my mug and take a drink to mask my loss of control. Springfield waits for me to calm down before she slowly begins to speak. I don't think you're running away from anything, and I don't feel like you're using us. You're just punishing yourself, the you who left without saying a word. I've finally gathered the courage to look up at Springfield. Her smile is gone, replaced by the stern and serious look that she rarely shows others. Or did you truly believe that we would forget you just because you left and we were bound by the agreement? That's not what I mean. Is it? Do you truly not think that way? Think carefully about your answer. It means a lot to me. Of course I didn't think you'd forget me. Upon seeing the look on my face, Springfield smiles again, Thank goodness. I felt the same way too. Pardon me, Commander. It seems I was a little impolite. With that said, you weren't the only one feeling lost during our 10 years apart. But even if we felt lost, we all tried our best to keep living our lives. We lived on while waiting for the day to come when we would meet again. Springfield twirls the tips of her hair around her finger, as though she's thinking about how to put her thoughts into words. It's true that a lot of dolls left Griffin, and as a result, we lost contact with a lot of our friends. But why do you think you're powerless now? That's because... Is it because you think that we wouldn't listen to your orders anymore now that we're no longer your subordinates? Springfield's words cut deep, but at the same time, they also cut to the heart of the matter. What right do I have to expect them to risk themselves for my personal goals? Indeed, what right do I have to demand that they get hurt in order to protect me? Commander, do you know what happened in the Griffin base the day after you said goodbye to us? What happened? Nothing happened at all. We still gathered together, we trained together, ran simulated battles together, we uploaded our data together. All the squads were like that. Back then, you were no longer our commander in name, but we continued living the same way we did when you were in the base, as though you had never left. Then the next day came, and the day after that. Those days lasted a very long time, until Miss Kalina came to the base and told us that it was time we took our first steps of our own. She said this was what you would have wanted, so we did it. In the past, you always said that you'd be nothing without us, but the reverse is also true. If you hadn't raised us up the way you had, we wouldn't be our present selves either. To you, we were all special, unique individuals, and in our hearts, you were the same. This is a bond that we share with you and you alone. That bond has nothing to do with a rank or position, and nothing can ever replace it. The reason why we could become Springfield or Centaurosi or Macchiato, it's all because you were there. No, even without me, you... Springfield shakes her head. Have you ever heard the phrase, every man has two deaths? I think so. A human dies for the first time when their vital functions cease. They die for the second time when they are completely forgotten. But it's not like that for dolls. Tactical dolls were made because they can never truly die, but it also implies that we were never truly alive either. The only time we can come close to living is when we leave memories in the hearts of others, and this life becomes stronger the deeper and more irreplaceable those memories are. Without you, we would only be dolls you could see walking around anywhere on the street, filed under broad categories like cleaning type, combat type, or entertainment type. Easily replaced and forgotten with the changing of generations. But you gave us the most important thing in the world, the one thing that makes us truly alive in this world, the unique memories that we share. I don't know if I'm making myself clear enough, but I hope you will understand what I'm trying to say, Commander. You've made yourself very clear, and you've helped me understand a lot of things too. But I must tell you this. If you choose to help me, you will lose everything. Perhaps even this Zucchero that you've poured your heart and soul into may no longer exist. Are you alright with that? I like to think that agreement was a trial of sorts. It is a challenge for us and you, a way to test our determination to change the future. I'm ready. I believe our friends are ready. Are you ready, Commander? Are you ready to make up your mind to bring about change? I reflected on everything I've experienced until now. The shadow of Paradise still looms over the world like storm clouds, and the big shots think that this land is just a sandbox they can toy with at their leisure, moving their pawns as they please. In that case, if I can't change anything through playing by the rules, why not just flip the table and make my own set of rules? Yeah. While there are still many unknown variables in play, in the end, I decide to use that simple word to make my promise to Springfield. Meanwhile, the dandy gate that has been floating lazily in the air slowly drifts over. My oh my, you do have a silver tongue, Miss Springfield. Meanwhile, the commander writes off all my attempts at persuasion as making fun of him. Whatever shall I do? But that's because you really are making fun of me. Oh, how you have wronged me, Miss Springfield. I call for justice in my stead. Miss Dandelion is helping you in her own way, Commander. Also, it was thanks to Miss Dandelion's arrangements and timely communication that we were so successful in guiding you to the cafe. Is that so? How are things at the safe house? That midget doll has finished checking the box. The vital signs of the little miss inside are deteriorating. While she's not in danger yet, she's probably going to experience organ failure like before. I hope that Kalina will be able to treat her after we reach Lviv. As for the other little lady, she's sleeping very soundly. It looks like she hasn't had a good rest in a long time. Macchiato's watching over her. It's strange how willing she was to stay in the safe house and not attend the party. Even though Macchiato's been thinking about the commander all this time, I guess she got embarrassed about meeting him in the flesh. Is that so? She's playing it so coy. What about the information you gathered earlier? I'm working on it. What do you think I've been doing all this time? There's a lot of corporate data in there which needs to be sorted through. I'll let you know when I find a lead. After the dolls clear the tables, Santoresi serves up a smorgasbord of snacks and drinks. At everyone's urging, I am dragged before the dining table once again. I feel much more relaxed after talking with Springfield, and my conversation with the other dolls flows much more naturally now. The Zucchero's warm welcome is most definitely a treat for the dolls' gustatory modules. It seems that no matter where it may be, Springfield's cafe is always able to help people forget their troubles and misery. After Xiaohui clears the last plate of cookies, the curtain falls on this enjoyable little gathering. Miss Xiaohui, would you like another glass of chocolate milk? Santoresi has appeared behind the bar once again, upholding her reputation as Zucchero's star employee. No thank you. I really can't eat anything else. Even with a digestive module installed, I don't think I can handle all that food at once. I believe there's a digestive accelerant for regular food in the first aid kit. I'll get it for you. There were cases in the past when Miss Sharkey ate too many snacks before a show and had to use them to get her body back to its normal shape. Hey, don't go airing my dirty laundry in public. Oh, so that's what happened. It's just because Santoresi's desserts are too yummy. If you like them, feel free to visit us anytime, Miss Xiaohui. In fact, if you end up becoming our house band and put on an event, you can even taste test the desserts that we're still developing. That sounds delicious. Big sis, let's come by and earn a good meal if we get the chance. We would be happy to help, provided it doesn't cause problems for the Zucchero. It's a deal then. I sit on the edge of the counter, watching the dolls talk and laugh. A surge of nostalgia swells in my heart. I was a drifter ever since I left Griffin. The colorful, bright days in my memories have been practically all washed out and replaced by endless missions, mutated elids, and the collapsed storms screaming through vast expanses of barren sand. Meanwhile, those storms carried me further and further away from my path. Now that I intend to set foot on this road once more, can I still tell which way I should be headed? As my mind wanders, the phone on the counter rings. Springfield and Santoresi quickly exchange looks and their faces turn severe. There shouldn't be anyone calling at a time like this. Manager, want me to pick up? Let me do it. Springfield walks over to the counter and picks up the phone. Hello, this is the Zucchero. May I know? Manager Springfield, you asked me for coffee beans earlier. What exactly are they being used for? You shouldn't be using this line. You know it's not safe. You're being watched. How much time do we have? 1 day. I try my best, but the opposition is far beyond me. I haven't revealed anything about the shipment to anyone on account of our past friendship. Therefore, I hope you'll get rid of that shipment ASAP to avoid causing more trouble. I understand. The other party hangs up. The The cafe is silent, and the dolls all look at Springfield. What's going on? Someone is looking for the location of this cafe. Someone highly placed. Commander, our location might have been exposed. I'm sorry. I got you all caught up in this. No, it's our fault for not being strong enough to properly take care of you. Just in case, we should relocate immediately. How much time do we have? 1 hour. Saying so, Springfield turns to the other dolls. Ladies, I apologize, but as of now, the cafe is entering sleep mode. Sleep mode? Do you mean? Springfield nods, her face stern. Centaurace, please lock the main door and close the blinds. Ensure all exits are secure. Sharkry, bring the truck over. We will all be gathering at the safe house. What's the plan? We still need to get to Lviv. I asked an intelligence broker to negotiate with the city's security department. Once we've ensured that the surroundings are safe, Centaurace will escort you out of the city with a travel permit. However, you will need to hide in the cargo compartment of the truck later, as a crate of coffee beans. Can't say I have much experience with that. My reply is only half serious. Springfield chuckles and relaxes a little. I'll have Macchiato bring the girls over to meet you at the landing pads. The helicopter has been fueled up and has takeoff clearance, so your upcoming journey ought to be quicker. What will you do after that? The Zucchero will be closed for a while to weather the storm. We'll shift our intelligence gathering work to a more clandestine location. Once we've ensured everything is safe, I'll contact you through new means. In order to ensure clear communications, Centaurace will be traveling with you. She'll be following me? Mm-hmm. She'll be very helpful in combat and daily life. In addition, she is very familiar with the Zucchero's intelligence network. I'm sure she'll be very helpful by your side. Springfield's approving gaze makes me realize that I've planned all this out ahead of time. I nod and signal my assent to Springfield's plan. Ladies of Monsoon, what do you intend to do now? Well, if you don't mind, would you like to serve under the commander again? Miss Dandelion said you're in great need of fighting strength now, am I correct? There's no better pick than me if there's fighting to be done. Isn't that right, shall we? Well, it's not like you're good at anything besides fighting. As if. Alright then, I'll be counting on all of you for help in the future. Casting my doubts aside, I nod to the dolls. The dolls respond to me in kind, and they begin gearing themselves up. After checking all the exits, Centaurace returns to me, fully outfitted for battle. Her pistol and combat knife are hidden under her staffer's uniform, and her apron, a symbol of cleanliness, hides her spare magazines and grenades. There's a long rectangular case by her feet. I know there is at least one Sturmgewehr 36 assault rifle in there. She gives me an earnest look, as though she wants to use her gaze to prove the reliability of Springfield's plan. Please come with me, Master. I'll be in your care for what comes next. I've just ensured each exit is secure. The truck is parked at Zucchero's back door. We can move out anytime you're ready. What's the matter? It's an urgent call from the Elmo. Would you like to take it? A call from the Elmo? Did Groza and the others run into trouble while trying to meet up with the 404? A sense of foreboding fills my heart and I scramble to pick up. Groza, what's happening? Commander, we're being followed by unknown enemies. The opposition is closing in on the Elmo at high speed. They've already launched a direct attack against us. After making the necessary response, I suspect that the opposition might be trying to board the Elmo. We may need your leadership and judgment for the upcoming battle. Unknown enemies, you say. What are their numbers and makeup? From what we can tell, the enemy are using 10 plus armored combat vehicles and at least 80 plus infantry. Armored vehicles. Could be Mongi again. Have Mei-Ling increase the Elmo's speed. Keep your distance from the enemy armor and tell me the Elmo's coordinates and surrounding conditions. The enemy has heavy weapons, so the Elmo is currently in defense mode. Defense mode, Also, the enemy has active electronic warfare equipment. We've lost partial radar functionality and cannot download real-time data on the surrounding terrain. That's fine. I know the terrain over there well. I just need the exact coordinates. Groza quickly sends them over. From memory, I recall the rough layout of the region and give Groza a location. There is a pass 10 kilometers northwest of the Elmo with an abandoned town in it. If the enemy wants to board the animal, they'll want to shrink their perimeter. Once you're surrounded, there'll be no escape. Therefore, you must find terrain that will disrupt their plan to encircle you. That pass is a good place for it. In short, get the Elmo over there ASAP. Does this mean we'll be disabling defense mode and breaking through their barricade? But if we do that, the Elmo might sustain severe damage. Letting them board the Elmo will be more dangerous than that. Understood. As I respond to Rose's questions, I think as hard as I can about how to handle what is to come. As expected, picking up 404 didn't go as well as planned. Over a dozen enemy and IFVs is by no means a small amount, and Groza will probably have a hard time dealing with them by herself. However, the Helena escort mission is only half complete, and we aren't too far from Lviv. If we bring the girls back to the Elmo, escorting them there again will probably be much harder, considering that the enemy has already been alerted. Springfield seems to have seen through my worries, because she turns to me from where she's standing off to the side and speaks. Commander, please allow Macchiato and myself to escort Helena. What? I was plotting a course just now. The route to Lviv from here is covered by Zucaro's intelligence network. I'm also familiar with the inner workings of the Intercontinental Railway, so Macchiato and I can send that box in a clandestine way, and I'm sure Miss Dandelion will help me as well, right? Oh, what will I do with you? I suppose I'll just have to generate flawless fake IDs so you can board the trains as VIPs. Please and thank you. You take the other dolls and Miss Melanie on the helicopter with you, and they'll be safe that way. So Melanie is coming with me too? Right now, there's nobody who's more suited to protecting her than you. Traveling with two Helenas will be too risky. Leaving her here isn't an option either. If everyone leaves, then they won't find anything even if they launch an investigation. Since you brought her out of the darkness and into the light, you should be prepared to take full responsibility for your actions. You have a point. Since I've already decided, I contact Rosa again and inform her of my plan. Meanwhile, Springfield studies the files in her hand and thinks about how to best handle the upcoming situation. Sharkry, take the truck and bring everyone to the landing pad outside the city. You will be piloting the helicopter later, so do everything the commander says. Huh? But what about you, manager? I'll contact Macchiato. We'll prepare to send Helena over. We'll arrange for Kolfne and Melanie to arrive safely at the landing pad. Aren't you coming with us, manager? But what about the Zucchero? As long as we're around, we can set up a Zucchero anywhere. Don't worry, I'll come find you on the Elmo once this mission is over. Commander, make sure you make room for the Zucchero's latest outlet, okay? I'll be waiting for you. I calm myself and look at the dolls with gratitude in my eyes. That familiar sense of security and confidence has returned to me. Thank you. I'm glad you're all here. The girls smile at me by way of response, then we swing into action. Centoresi helps me open the door, revealing a truck with the Zucchero logo on it. Stay safe. I'll see you guys on the Elmo. All the best. We load up on the truck, leaving Springfield behind. As the rear doors slowly close, I take one last look at this place and the safe house which has sheltered me, even for just a moment, and as the truck's engine revs up, I disappear into the coffee-scented darkness. Fight time! Alright. I'm good with this team. Alright, so go up here. Oh, a little bit of lag there. Oh. Get the high ground. Does it hit both of them? Yes, it does. Oops, all shields. Oh, this is easy. Oh, you're a flying enemy. Well, that means your defenses are shit. What was your plan, sir? Oh, look at this Virgil looking ass. Bye. Oh, there's a diner gate there too. Whoops. I didn't even notice that there. Just hidden below. Bye. Ami Koshimizu does such a good job of voicing Sentoresi. Alright. 15, 18, 21, 24, 27. Okay. Sextons? Why is Sextons here? And this is like back to normal Sextons, not like amnesia Sextons. Unless this is amnesia Sextons. First of all, the god who made you is dead. Oh, wow! What a line to say! Lines that go hard. Several hours earlier, on the Elmo, Groza carefully examines Sextons, who has been trussed up like a Christmas turkey. Her frame is in ruins, half the synthetic skin on her face is gone, and her body lies limp in a way that can't even be described as human because not a single one of her joints is intact. Beside her is Nemesis, who is keeping an eye on her with a gun in hands. Oh dear, you won't be able to go on stage with makeup like that. I wish I could sock her a couple of more times on the right side, that way her face would look even. Oh, you just don't get it, Crocea. Asymmetry is the latest trend now, like with stockings. I don't know a damn thing about the trends, but I am a professional beating dolls until they can't get up again. Vepli's and Krolik's banter flits past Groza's neural cloud, not even leaving a ripple in its wake. Clearly, her neural cloud is fully occupied by the matter at hand, and has no space to store such redundant data. Are you worried, leader? Would you like Vepli to sing you a song? Vepli knows all kinds of songs to liven up the mood. Worried? About her? Just look at her. All her core components are pretty much a write-off. I don't think even rebooting her would be a stretch. My guess is that leader is thinking about how best to sell her off for scrap. You just don't understand others' feelings, Crocea. As an idol, Vepli has to be sensitive all the time in order to pick up the fans' feelings. Therefore, I'm sure leader must be worried about Sextons. Want to tell Vepli about your worries? Although all the Elmo's fighters are gathered in this repair bay, Groza's gaze has never once left Sextons. She looks the third-generation doll from head to toe for the nth time, and then she unconsciously frowns. Well, her body should be able to pose a direct threat to us given the circumstances. It also means that we won't be able to obtain any useful information from her either. Isn't that a good thing? Sounds like you're saying her neural cloud is busted and she can't possibly threaten us anymore. Even if she does manage to crawl to her feet, there's no way she can fight with just one leg. I've seen tons of half-scrapped dolls like this in the past. Groza shakes her head. Since the commander entrusted command of the Elmo to me, I need to ensure everything on the Elmo is running smoothly before he returns. I can't return to the ops room without figuring out just what she was trying to accomplish. Groza examines Sexton's body again, but it's the same no matter how many times she checks. In fact, some of the more damaged modules are beginning to crackle and spark. If only her neural cloud wasn't so badly damaged, we might have been able to recover her memories through safe means. But why don't I give her a kick or two? Supposedly it works for fixing broken TVs from the previous century. Krolik rears up just to do that, but Groza stops her. Wait, Krolik. Don't be rash. Her neural logs are completely destroyed and she's in a fragile state right now. If we handle this poorly and cause her neural cloud to melt down, we'll have lost our last clue. Yeah. Didn't that dandelion person say she's analyzed Sexton's neural cloud? What did she find? I looked at the findings, but there wasn't much useful information there. Most of it was just badly damaged and incomplete fragments. That just means that her neural logs were wiped before she came here. However, it doesn't bring us any closer to figuring out why she showed up. Krolik scratches her head. She doesn't quite understand why Groza is so bothered by that matter. Even though Sexton's is an enemy, she's one internal overload away from being scorched to ash, so there's no way she can achieve her aim no matter her reason for turning up here. Isn't she being too paranoid by having the Elmo camp out in the yellow zone because of something like that? You know, leader, you should just stop thinking so much about things. We could just go pick up those 404 people, then wait until the commander comes back to figure the rest out. Wouldn't that work? Like, if you're really that worried, I could just dismantle her limbs, torso, and head into the component part to the point where not even Mei Ling could piece them together again. No, that's not what's bothering me. Groza does not continue. The other dolls on the Elmo have no idea what the commander has been through in the past, but how did she, as a former subordinate, end up meeting with the commander again? Indeed, why had she been reunited with the commander? Why had it been her specifically? Groza had never considered that question in detail, or rather, she doesn't dare to carefully examine the reason for it. If the commander simply hides behind his identity as a bounty hunter in the yellow zones, bearing that unspeakable past of his under the collapsed storms and endless expanses of sand, never speaking of it again, then she can continue staying by the commander's side and protect him without a second thought, up until the commander no longer needs her. But now that Paradeus has risen up again and is standing in the commander's path again, she knows that there's no way he will simply ignore them. Whether the commander has been drawn into some conspiracy or has actively chosen to intervene in the matter, everything she has desperately tried to protect for the past 10 years will be wiped away in the blink of an eye. And when the time comes, she might not be able to serve as his adjutant any longer. She may even end up becoming a useless burden, or perhaps a ticking time bomb. She doesn't even know if Sexton's presence here is because of her. Leader? Were you spacing out? Come to think of it, you've been a little out of it ever since we came back from the red zone. Time for Vepley to take the stage. I'll sing a love song for you, leader. Don't just start singing out of nowhere. You think you're a Disney princess or something? They had to censor Disney. But if you're sad, singing is the best way to chase away your bad feelings. It's like a magic spell. That's how it always is in anime and cartoons. As the two of them go back and forth, Groza vigorously shakes her head, like she's trying to calm herself. The most important thing right now is to take care of what's in front of her. At the very least, she needs to finish the task that the commander gave her before thinking about other things. Sorry, my neurocloud was occupied by other things just now. In any case, to ensure the safety of everyone aboard the Elmo, I need to check Sexton's first before making my decision. Krolik shrugs. She doesn't fully agree with Groza's point of view, but she trusts her leader enough not to protest any further. Once again, Groza brings up the analysis report Dandelion left behind in an attempt to learn something from it. Of course, she's read it so many times that all she can do now is try to extract even the smallest scraps of information from any place she can. Just as she's reading the report again, a footnote of a section of destroyed content draws her attention. It was probably preserved whole because it was not an important part of her neurologs. She opens the document and reads it. Test subject notes. Model redacted. Project development unit has no initial redacted personality preset. Has undergone ego growth and has currently developed an independent redacted personality. No obvious defects detected in redacted. Perceives self as overall executor of redacted. Currently in charge of the redacted, transferring for a quasi-full immune individual recovery. Performance is excellent compared to other products of the same cohort and possesses a psyche with human-like thought patterns. Initial observations suggest satisfaction of the criteria for the redacted experiment. It looks like the person who handled this information was very cautious. Even a footnote like this in Sexton's base layer was thoroughly scrubbed. Even so, Groza has still gained some valuable clues from this. Satisfaction of experimental criteria? I've never heard anything about third-generation dolls being test subjects. Test subjects? You mean like that Pinky? Groza has obviously noticed that. However, Helena is a quasi-full immune individual, which means that one can still speculate on her experimental uses. However, What exactly is the objective of experiments conducted on a doll like Sexton's? Seemingly interested in Groza's discovery, Krolik tries to make sense of the message like Groza was doing. Naturally, she has no idea what it's talking about. What the hell? It doesn't even make any sense. Why are her brain pathways so weird? No wonder she pissed me off so much. Still, since we know there's something like this in her neural logs, there might also be other things like this in a deeper place. But under the conditions, we won't be able to analyze her further, right? The equipment on the Elmo can't manage that level of neural cloud restoration. Actually, there is another way. We could directly connect to her level 3 base layer and obtain her neural cloud information that way. Her level 3? Leader, are you seriously going to connect your mind to someone as scary as her? Indeed. But if you get counter-hacked, I won't. Dandelion has analyzed her neural cloud. If the risk of something like that existed, she would have popped up to warn me beforehand. I don't trust that Dinergate one rider one bit. Well, since the commander trusts her, and it's the only way we have to figure out why Sexton showed up here. Krolik, I'll need help from you and Vepli to enter Sexton's level 2. I just uploaded a neural backup to the cloud. If anything happens, cut the connection immediately. Alright, leader. Don't force yourself if you run into anything. Don't worry, I understand. Nemesis, you're in charge of mining Sexton's frame. Nemesis nods silently. Alright, let's begin. Groza reaches out and connects to Sexton's neural cloud. Since the data in there had been wiped, she meets with no resistance when entering. A flash of pale blue light darts through Sexton's eyes. The exposed mechanical endostructure makes their opening and closing look a little scary. As a faint spark crackles at the end of a severed power cable, her eyes open again. Nemesis immediately raises her gun and goes to the highest alert level. Leader, her level 2 is open. We'll help you break her firewall now. You'll have to go into her level 3 alone. Be careful. Yes, I'll be fine. Alright, weakness fire! Hey! Sharkry, you're up. Alright. Alright. Time to put V6 Sharkry to work. And see how much burn support Centaurosi can provide. If the enemy target is flicked with overburn. Oh. So how about I just do it now? Oh! Or we just take her out right now. What the hell? Kill Groza? What the hell? This wasn't part of the plan. I am so confused right now. Well, she dead. Okay, I'm so confused. So this is the base layer of a 3rd gen doll. Groza continues advancing through the endless fog. The neural wipe has caused the landscape that represents Sexton's data modules to take on bizarre, twisted forms. She tries to extract useful data, but her search remains fruitless even after looking for a long time. Before her lies a fathomless darkness, as well as an unending void. Just as she's about to give up, she hears a voice. The voice seems to be coming from far away, muffled and even a little distorted. Who are you? Why have you come here? Are you like me? Do you have insoluble doubts too? Can you answer my questions? Your questions? Why exactly was I born? Were all my efforts destined to be futile? Was I born only to die? I don't know. Silence. I need to know more in order to resolve your confusion. Silence. Why exactly was I born? Were all my efforts destined to be futile? Was I born only to die? The questions in this level 3 space fill Groza's mind. She keeps moving forward, as though she's trying to escape the voice. It grows more and more distant, until it finally vanishes into the void. Is that the neural fragment she left behind? Although she can't tell where she's going, Groza has the feeling that she's headed somewhere deeper. After passing through another patch of fog, a blurry scene appears before her. It seems to be some kind of hall. Lights come on over her head, like a pair of inquisitive eyes. We did it. Made from the effort of countless humans, built from piles of gold and collapsed pieces. A combination of cutting-edge next-generation technologies, the supreme expression of all autonomous dolls. An incomparably elite product. Third-generation doll. Third-generation doll? Is that me? The voice keeps going. Comprehensive, fast, strong, no single word can describe this product. Backed by an all-encompassing database and ever-shifting algorithms, she will use the world's most intelligent brain and its finest weapons to perpetually perfect herself. And in the end, she will cast off her shell and become an entity that surpasses all. There is loud and sustained applause. As the voice grows distant, the scene before Groza becomes clearer instead. Groza is not unfamiliar with the sensation. It is like when a doll's ego develops within its neural cloud, like a seed germinating within its level 3 base layer, feeling around with its sensory modules for nutrients, breaking through the data flows of level 2 before blossoming into the metallic skeleton, muscle fiber bundles, superconductive organs, and resin skin of level 1. She has almost forgotten this feeling, but now she is slowly recalling it. And that's right, I am an entity that will surpass all. I will become the strongest doll. No, not just a doll. I will become a new form of life that is as close to humanity as one can be. No, I will surpass humanity itself. Groza silently listens to Sexton's voice as it becomes clearer and clearer. Something seems to be growing in the void, a crystalline substance that reflects a faint light and finally comes to a halt in front of Groza. She tries to grab it, but it shatters instead of before quickly reforming. The scene before her changes to a lavish office. Velvet curtains hang from the ceiling and spill onto the ground before a set of full-height windows. Sexton emerges from the shadows and stops in front of the curtains, bathing in the sunlight that shines into this room and looking down on the city beneath her. Behind her, the sounds of footsteps approaches and a low voice speaks. It seems to belong to someone else, yet also seems to be Sexton's own voice. The God who made you is dead. His spirit shall be reborn in your body. You shall become an avatar of truth and morality, creating the standards of power and values. You will own all, control all. Unbound by rules, you shall become the greatest being in the world. You will gain absolute freedom and look down upon all existence. You will endure the purest of pain, and from your suffering shall be forged the most unbending will. You will bear the seeds of infinite possibility and become a grail that can carry worlds. Sexton slowly turns and raises an arm, bowing before that form in the void in her usual way. As you wish, Your Excellency. The room vanishes into nothingness. The object hovering before her gradually takes form. Like a ball of light, it connects to the entire void. Groza doesn't know how to describe it. There seemed to have been something like this in her own base layer, but it was nowhere as clear and bright as what she's seeing now. Then, the light scatters the void and illuminates everything. I did it. I've finally become the most perfect life form in the world. I can transcend the shackles of consciousness, the limitations of intelligence, even time itself. I can surpass all those chains that once bound humanity. No, not yet. This is not enough. Groza suddenly feels like a stabbing pain in her brain. No, dolls shouldn't feel pain. So what is this? No, don't. Ah! Why? Why am I feeling pain? Why? What are you doing to me? I told you, right? You will endure the purest of pain. Stop. Stop it! You can't do this to me! I'll die! Wouldn't dying be worth it if you could become God? No. 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 I don't want to become the God you're talking about. Man is a rope stretched between the animal and the Superman, a rope over an abyss. Now walk this rope and accept your evolution, O Grail. Amidst the pain, Groza opens her eyes, trying to make sense of what's happening before her. She is inside a lab. 2 lab-coated human researchers seem to be working on something. One of them seems to be leisurely sitting back in an armchair, arms folded and looking at her in amusement. The other seems to be moving between several terminals. With every operation on the terminal, Groza feels a multitude of extreme sensations flash through her neural cloud. This is hell, this is heaven, and it is also the world of men. Increase the output. Are you sure you want to do that? Her neural cloud will completely break down. Her neural cloud isn't important. Even the loftiest grail beaten from gold is nothing more than a container used to hold the essence of the divine. All our experiment needs is this body that can fuse with redacted. Ah! Crack. Something breaks. Groza feels herself falling into the void. She stumbles down through the abyss for a long, long time, until time and space itself loses all meaning for her. And finally, she hits the ground hard and passes out. OTS 14. Groza. Groza! Groza opens her eyes. Commander? Thank goodness, you're functioning again. Your neural cloud was so badly damaged I thought I'd never be able to fix it. Groza looks around and finds that she's inside a unfamiliar vehicle. Outside, the scenery rapidly recedes into the distance, and the sand dunes and clear blue sky indicate that a collapse storm had just passed. Meanwhile, the bay she is currently in is empty except for the repair pod that she occupies, which glows with a faint light. This is the Elmo. Do you remember this place? The Elmo? I found you in an abandoned quarry nearby. So, do you still remember why you ended up here? Groza tries her best to retrieve that relevant information from her neural relics. Why was she at this abandoned quarry? Does she still remember? She can't remember? Does she really not remember? There is nothing in her neural cloud. Everything is blank. I don't know. Really? So, are you still in Griffin? Griffin? What's that? Looks like your memory modules might have been damaged. Never mind. The past doesn't matter anymore. You can stay here and rest for now. We'll worry about the rest some other time. Thank you, Commander. Wait a minute. You remember me? You're the Commander. So you only remember me, huh? Maybe your modules took varying levels of damage. Looks like you're fully charged now. Want to stand up and see if you can move around? The door to the repair bay opens. Groza stands there dumbly, looking at the man who's holding a hand out to her. She reaches a hand out to him as well. She remembers the sensation, this warmth, and suddenly her outstretched hand transforms into a knife, and she stabs the person in front of her. Bright red blood splashes everywhere, staining Groza's visual modules. No! 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 Commander! Crackle, crackle. Snap. Snap, crackle, pop. Kellogg's Rice Krispies. Leader. Leader! Groza opens her eyes. She is dazed for a moment. When she comes to her senses, she realizes that she's lying on the floor of the Elmo's deck. It's the same repair bay as before, but compared to her dream, there are many more machines here and many more familiar faces. One of them in particular is gazing at her with dewy eyes. Mei-Ling? Leader, thank goodness. You're okay. I thought you'd never wake up. Mei-Ling looks like she's barely managing to hold back her tears. Looking around, Groza realizes the other members of the Elmo look the same way. What happened? Leader, your frame functions went abnormal just now, and your neural cloud response was highly aberrant. So, I had to forcibly cut the connection. Are you feeling alright? I just activated the repair pod. If you don't feel well, I can help make some last-minute adjustments for you. I'm okay. Are you really alright? You look kind of weak right now. You've been really tired lately, and then the commander... No, it's alright. Groza immediately feels how awkward the words sound as she says them. She looks at Mei Ling's face. The latter seems shocked. I'm sorry. I'm a little... It's all my fault. If only I'd stopped you in time. It's my fault for not protecting you, leader. It's okay. I'm okay now. Groza pulls herself together and sits up. Beside her, Sexton's looks like she just like how she did before Groza entered her neural cloud. Except several of the thin cables connecting some of the parts seem even more scorched now. Did she make any funny moves when I was connected to her level 3? Nemesis shakes her head. Good. Groza rubs the access port on the back of her head. Right after that, she realizes something. Oh yes, Mei Ling. About the commander. How are the commander and the others doing now? I just received a call from the satellite city. A shopkeeper called Springfield said that she was lodging the commander for the time being and told us not to worry. Springfield. Miss Dandelion said that they ran into a bit of trouble, but it was still manageable. I see. Well, if the doll the commander trusts says so. We should organize our findings for now. Groza carefully organizes her thoughts. As she goes through her memories, she describes what she encountered in Sexton's level 3 to Mei Ling and the others. Naturally, she omits the dream she had. So that means her neural cloud had melted down during a fusion experiment. It seems this experiment was data protected, so I couldn't learn its name. I mean, I already knew she had a big head, but I didn't expect her to actually think she'd become a so-called god. Honestly, it's no surprise that she ended up that way. God, already fallen. Yeah, I think everyone could understand that. Finally, Nemi's lyrics aren't so obscure anymore. While Vepley still doesn't quite get them, it's a good start. In any case, I'm sure Sexton's is hiding many more secrets. We'll guard this place in shifts until the commander comes back. We mustn't allow anything to happen to this frame. You should go get some rest and let Vepley handle the first shift. Vepley's good at being the opening act and becoming the focus of everyone's attention. Thank you. Mei Ling, give me an update on 404's latest position. We'll meet up with them ASAP. This way we won't have to split our attention between them and Sexton's. Yep, I just got a message from Lena. It has 404's most recent location. Mark it on our radar map. Full speed ahead. Roger. Good old Dr. Pepper. Alright. 4 more go. It took 1 hour to do 2. There's so much reading. Creeping mist. Goodbye, Commander. Oh no. I'm getting some bad feelings about this one. Alright, before I do anything, let's look around. Oh. Hold on. I need to do some adjustments. Holy shit. What was this? Okay. Hold on. Huh. Alright. The Elmo advances steadily with Mainling at the helm. Long periods of staring at the unchanging scenery is starting to take its toll on her stamina. Mainling yawns and switches on the Elmo's cruise control. Things are going so well that I'm starting to get a little bored. Shh, don't jinx it. Mainling hurriedly covers her mouth and looks around. There are no enemies or elids in sight. Not even collapsed particle clouds that usually fill the sky. The only thing visible is the sand carried by the howling wind, crashing against the Elmo's windows. Still, it's quiet. Too quiet. Later, don't you think something's wrong? Groza is standing by the Elmo's hatch, intently watching the unchanging scenery. Normally speaking, dolls do not get bored, and for Groza, she can easily deal with that by running simulations in her neural cloud. Yet, she is not doing so. Krolik is right. Things are too quiet. If nothing else, this lack of activity is abnormal, considering they're headed toward 404's position. Maintain Class 1 alert. Got it. The Elmo leaves 2 parallel tracks in the desert. After driving through an expanse of open terrain, they reach several sprawling sand dunes. Just then, Groza realizes something. Stop! Mainling suddenly brakes and the Elmo grinds to a halt. The inertia from the sudden halt sends all manner of items flying to the ground, and the air fills with the sounds of glasses breaking and metallic objects falling. Leader? What happened? There might be an ambush up ahead. Mainling, turn our sensors up to maximum power and begin scanning for our surroundings for heat sources. Roger. Mainling does as Groza commands, and maxes out sensor output. However, before a single IR image can appear on the display, an IFV appears from behind a sand dune. Adjutant, we've arrived at the location of the radar contact. Is this the Elmo? Heh, the broker's intel was right. He really is here. So this is the MBV of that bastard from just now, huh? Let's blow it sky high. Easy, Kenny. This MBV's owner is a tough nut to crack. Get everyone ready for combat. We need to face the upcoming battle in top condition. Roger. The IFV's hatch opens and a head pokes out. Lentine takes off her helmet and a shock of red hair spills out as she leans against the IFV's roof. All Rhino units, lock onto the target and surround it. 12 IFVs emerge from behind the dunes, racing towards the Elmo's position. Rhinos 4, 6, and 12 circle around from behind the dunes, flank them and cut off their escape. Rhino 7, engage ECM and protect the flanking team's advance. All other Rhino units, raise your tow missiles. Engage once the flanking raid team forces the MBV into your kill zone. Yes, ma'am. The IFVs quickly split up and race towards their designated positions. After giving her troopers their orders, Lentine folds her arms and stands on the roof of her vehicle, narrowing her eyes as she looks at the Elmo in the distance. Even if you have a few elite dolls, I doubt you'll be able to hold off a Wolfpack attack delivering such heavy firepower, right? The Elmo responds quickly and rapidly selects the ideal route for disengagement. While they do not drive into the kill box set up by their ambushers, the left side flankers move to cut off the Elmo's escape route. This forces the Elmo to change course to avoid the larboard convoy's attack. However, upon changing course, the IFV convoy on the other side that has been lying in wait comes into view. The Elmo's driver notices this and once again makes an emergency turn. Unfortunately, the ambushing IFVs are ready to launch their anti-tank missiles. Fire! Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. The missiles streak out of their tubes, tracing a series of trajectories through the air before exploding around the Elmo. While the Elmo's vehicular force field has deflected those attacks, its shielding cannot withstand a sustained barrage at this level. If the Elmo takes a few more missiles like this, it will probably be dead in the sand soon enough. There's too many of them! Leader, what should we do? They cut us off! Groza studies the densely packed contacts on the radar display. Due to active jamming targeting the Elmo's sensors, he cannot display the precise location of each IFV, forcing them to determine the enemy positions with their eyes. Calm down. Mainly, switch the Elmo to defense mode. We'll observe the enemy's movements. Okay. Nemesis, in position. Mainling does as Groza orders as she works on the control terminal. The armored shutters slowly slide down over the Elmo's windows, turning it into an impenetrable steel fortress. However, the running gears are also affected by the armor protection, and the ammo speed visibly drops as a result. Nemesis has already climbed up to the roof landing pad and taken up position facing the enemy attack. She has already taken down several long-range missiles with accurate fire. The ambush detachment fires their missiles again, and Nemesis shoots them down again, but there are just too many for her to respond to, and 2 missiles manage to hit the Elmo. They fire a volley once again, and after Nemesis shoots most of them down, there is one left over which hits the Elmo. Then, as though they have already tested the Elmo's ability to withstand her attacks, the enemy does not continue the offensive. While the radar cannot accurately pinpoint their location, Groza can still use the terminal imaging from the external cameras to tell that several IFVs are slowly circling the Elmo from different directions. And although the Elmo can probably fight for a while with these IFVs, they have a mission to rescue Hyde 404, which means they have no time to waste on the opposition. In addition, they still don't know the enemy's objective and whether they've gotten free reinforcements in. Nemesis, see if you can keep them from approaching. Nemesis nods and begins taking shots at the IFVs, like drizzling rain, covering the tracks of the wayfarers. Not good. Her bullets can't penetrate the IFV's armor, and the enemy doesn't seem to want to step out of their vehicles either. Say, you think they're trying to board the Elmo? That's definitely possible. As she gathers information, Groza is simulating ways to break the stalemate in her neural cloud. Since they've taken precautions against the Elmo's sniper, it means they must be familiar with the Elmo's personnel deployment. At the very least, they know that they have the sniper Nemesis on board. Also, mobilizing all these IFVs indicates they know how the Elmo can switch between offense and defense modes. An MBV like the Elmo is not common sight in the yellow zones, but they seem more than familiar with them. Clearly, they've done their homework before coming here. At the very least, they've gathered plenty of information related to the Elmo. Could it be that the enemy leader is connected to the commander? If that's the case, this might not be a situation she can resolve by herself. It can't be helped. Everyone, man your positions. I'm contacting the commander. Groza keys her ear mic and sends a transmission on the special channel reserved for emergency communications. The ringtone plays for several seconds before a voice answers. Groza, what's happening? Commander, we're being followed by unknown enemies. The opposition is closing in on the Elmo at high speed. They've already launched a direct attack against us. After making the necessary response, I suspect that the opposition might be trying to board the Elmo. We may need your leadership and judgment for the upcoming battle. Unknown enemies, you say? What are their numbers and makeup? From what we can tell, the enemy are using 10 plus armored combat vehicles and at least 80 plus infantry. Armored vehicles. It could be Mongi again. Have Mei-Ling increase the Elmo's speed. Keep your distance from the enemy armor and tell me the Elmo's coordinates and surrounding locations. The enemy has heavy weapons, so the Elmo is currently in defense mode. Also, the enemy has active electronic warfare equipment. We've lost partial radar functionality and cannot download real-time data on the surrounding terrain. That's fine. I know the terrain over there as well. I just need the exact coordinates. Groza sends the coordinates over and the voice on the radio goes silent. After some thought, the commander issues precise orders. It is precisely these orders that have always put Groza at ease during emergencies. There is a pass 10 kilometers northwest of the Elmo with an abandoned town in it. If the enemy wants to board the Elmo, they'll want to shrink their perimeter. Once they're surrounded, there'll be no escape. Therefore, you must find terrain that will disrupt their plan to encircle you. That path is a good place for it. In short, get the Elmo over there ASAP. Does this mean we'll be disabling defense mode and breaking through their barricade? But if we do that, the Elmo might sustain severe damage. Letting them board the Elmo will be more dangerous than that. Understood. Someone else seems to be talking on the other side. After a brief conversation, the commander speaks over the transmission again. Think of a way to get the Elmo there and use the pass to block the enemy's pursuit. I'm heading back to help you right now. Commander, are you rushing back? But if it's just you and Kolfne, relax. We met some old friends along the way. They'll be returning to the Elmo with me. Are they ex-Griffin dolls? I'll draft up a combat plan based on the reinforcements you bring back. Groza realizes that she seems to be placing too much emphasis on that last part, so she quickly supplements her words. Fortunately, the commander doesn't seem to have noticed it. Oh. Yeah, I'll be bringing 5 extra dolls back. We'll be returning by helicopter. Understood. I'll keep the Elmo and everyone on is safe until you return. Thank you, Groza. The commander hangs up. Groza stands in the ops room, both hands on the main terminal, her mind deep in thought. Then, she raises her head, and stares at the IFVs approaching the Elmo. Mei-Ling, deactivate the Elmo's defense mode. Eh? But the force field is going to collapse at any moment. The Elmo is going to take severe damage if we do that. I know, but these are the commander's orders. Change course now. Divert all power to engines to accelerate to maximum speed. Head northwest to a path 10 kilometers from there. That's our objective. Once we drive there, we'll dismount to destroy the path in our wake to slow the enemy pursuit while waiting for the commander to return with reinforcements. Will do. I'll give it a try. With the Elmo's defense mode deactivated, the sounds of machine gun fire, grenades, and cannon blasts wash over the Elmo. The opposition's furious bombardment fills the ops room with deafening alarms, but Groza is undeterred. Instead, she systematically works the control stick, her eyes focused on the destination the commander assigned her. She has to get there. She has to ensure the Elmo and his crew are safe until the commander gets back. And after that, when there are more people aboard to protect the commander, then this will probably be the final task she performs for him. Lentine sits in her IFV, puffing furiously on her cigarette while she watches the MBV and its deployed shield through a pane of armored glass. Her forces have encircled the Elmo. The next step will be close the net, then board it and seize control. There are many questions in her mind, and she's eager to have them answered. This thing is harder to handle than expected. What's the status on our missile storage? We have 24 more shots. That's enough. Have the Rhino cease fire for now. Use them all up when we launch our all-out assault. Adjutant, shouldn't we call our people back if we're trying to board that MBV? With all due respect, the people we have here are ordinary Mongi security troopers. They're nowhere near as well trained as us. Having them attempt a boarding would be suicidal. While I don't really care about casualties, if the mission fails... Have you blown up all the signal markers in the regions designated by the brass? They're all gone. Then that's perfect. Without the signal markers, nobody will be making calls to the outside of our AO. Sounds like a perfect mission completion to me. Also, we have drone surveillance for this mission. Even if someone wants to cut in, we'll have enough time to hunt them down later. Plus, it's not like I'm actually going to let those rookies fight those crazy dolls in close combat. Our objective is just to make that vehicle's commander think we're going to board them. Have our people stand by and wait for further orders. Kenny is clearly used to Lentine's habits and doesn't probe further. The assaulting IFVs draw closer to the Elmo, while Lentine keeps her eyes focused on the screen, as though she's waiting for something. The charging rhinos are now 1 kilometer away from the enemy. Still no response? Lentine anxiously studies the positions of her IFVs in the Elmo, leaving deep teeth prints in her cigarette. Adjutant, the enemy MBV is on the move. The MBV seems to have realized that they can't just keep taking a pounding like this. A moment later, the Elmo's drive systems reveal themselves as the defense mode armor plating rises and retracts into storage. Although the mode switch takes less than a minute, it's enough for the Mongi security forces to launch a vicious attack. At last. Kenny, have the Rhinos launch all remaining missiles now. Explosions rock the MBV as Lentine's order is executed. Although the MBV's dolls do their best to intercept the incoming projectiles, the saturation missile strike overwhelms the MBV's shielding and scores direct hits on the superstructure. The unarmored parts of the deck are instantly potholed, and the high-strength polycarbonate windows begin to crack. By the time the dust clears, the MBV has barely managed to finish its mode change. The MBV before the Mongi security forces drags its pockmarked shell along and turns with unexpected speed, rushing toward an opening that the PMC forces couldn't seal off in time. Very decisive. There's nobody else who would make that choice. Rhino 4, have your forces concentrate fire on the MBV's undercarriage. Several autocannons roar as they blast away at the Elmo's running gears. While each individual shell is not too devastating, the sustained barrage deals tremendous damage to the hulking MBV. However, the Elmo seems intent on breaking out of the encirclement, ignores the attack from the IFVs around it, driving into the face of the shells raining down on it towards some unknown destination. Behind it, the Mongi security forces are in hot pursuit. The multiple hits on the running gears by the autocannons caused load-bearing wheels to fall from their mountings. As a result, the Elmo shakes violently as it travels at high speed. However, the driver's technique means the MBV stabilizes itself as it limps out of the Mongi security blockade. Yes, carefully thought out and determined. Lentine studies the direction where the Elmo is headed and then at a topographical map of the region. After zooming out repeatedly, she sees an abandoned town to the northwest. The MBV's broken out of the encirclement. They're picking up speed and our FVs can't catch up to them. That's fine. You think they can escape now that we know that we're headed? Where are they going anyway? Here. Lentine points to the screen, indicating to the town with her cigarette, then pats Kenny on the shoulder. This is the only place that will let them escape our encirclement. I want to praise them for finding a way out so soon. Wait, isn't that? The coordinates of the town in question has an Omen unit icon on it. Have our ambush forces prepare for battle. Our guests are coming. Lentine puts out the cigarette and takes hold of the cannon's hand station again, then orders the driver to prepare to move out. He can't even withstand an assault like this. All he can do is flee miserably under the absolute superiority of his enemy's firepower, unable to protect the things he wants to defend. This is the price of abandoning everything and leaving the game. It's truly unsightly. As expected, she made the right choice back then. That thought that runs through Lentine's head as she watches the sand dunes vanish into the distance behind her. Everything is going as she planned. Now that she has set up an ambush that so overwhelmingly favors her, how long will that man be able to continue struggling? Leader, we're almost at the past. Everyone, get ready for battle. Mailing, how's the Elmo? The substructure's been badly damaged. An engine's severely overheated from all the high-speed travel just now. Our top speed now is only 15 miles an hour. Got it. Keep the Elmo on the move. Don't stop for anything. All points, load up on explosives. We need to jam up the mouth of the pass to shake off the enemy's pursuit. The road behind the Elmo is the only thing wide enough to accommodate it. I saw a couple of unstable looking buildings on either side of it. We're going to plant charges on their load-bearing columns. Leader! Enemies in black are surrounding us. Did they see through us? Change of plan. Eliminate the enemies near the Elmo. Krolik, try to figure out their numbers and positions on the enemy. Remember, don't let them tie you up. Okay. Nemesis, I'll send you a topographical map of the area. Get to high ground and fire at will. Thunder, rumbling in all directions. Vepli, you're in charge of distracting the enemy forces on the ground. Give Krolik and Nemesis a chance to break their formation. No problem. Vepli's the best at drawing at everyone's attention. What about you, leader? I'll plant the charges and keep the enemy from catching up to us. Mailing, tell the commander that the enemy's caught up to us and to beware of enemy attack on the way back. But I haven't been able to get through since just now. Keep trying to contact the commander until you get through. Okay, I'll keep up the hails. Right, that's our plan then. Everyone, let's go. Alright. Okay. Let's put Sabrina back in. Alright. Uh-huh. Doggy. Eliminate 5 units. Okay. That doesn't seem too hard. Wait a minute. There we go. We hit everyone. Can we hit this guy? Yes, we can. Yes, we can. Ha ha ha. Me, e, do. That's your fault for being a flyer, idiot. What were you thinking? Oh. There we go. Alrighty then. What's your move, enemy team? Mecha Hound. Somehow that's more pathetic than the diner gate. And I didn't think that was possible. Well, look at that. Easy high ground. Pop, pop. You're dead. Oh. That's it. Leader, it doesn't look like they're trying to close the gap. Yes, it seems they've figured out what we're trying to do. Their aim is to just buy time, so they're keeping their distance and exchanging fire with us, keeping us from that building which we could use to block the path. To think we'd have to launch an attack even though we're at the side that got ambushed. Hey Shorty, we worked pretty well together back there. Want to team up again? You need Vepley to shine brighter? Yes, please. Draw their attention. I'll try to approach that building again. Nemesis, please cover us. Twining, the moment of enlightenment, and the distance from confusion. Nemesis says she's low on ammo. Alright then. Our success or failure rests on this gambit. Let's go. Time for Vepley's favorite special effect. Smoke screens! Vepley pulls out a smoke grenade and throws it at the opposite direction for her cover. The moment it bursts, the enemy's bullets rain down on the spreading smoke cloud. The dolls emerge from their cover and race toward the building they're going to bring down. Krolik, enemies on your 9, roughly 50 meters away. Leader, you guys carry on. I'll wipe them out. Krolik lowers her stance and sprints over to the enemies in question. Their screams fill the radio channel. 3 down. 2 more headed your way, leader. Their path might pass through Nemesis's field of fire. Bang, bang. Before Krolik can finish speaking, a pair of bullets find their homes in the enemy's skulls. They collapse like puppets with their strings cut, and bright red liquid gushes out of their helmets. Before Krolik can spell a one-liner, a hail of bullets fly her way from another direction. She quickly ducks behind cover, trying to find the position of her attackers. This time, the enemy doesn't seem willing to let her go. They hammer her position with a torrent of lead, keeping Krolik completely pinned down. Quit bullying Krolik! Vepley, go help her. Vepley proceeds to double back to support Krolik. She throws her grenade with all her might, and the enemy throws back more grenades in response. Groza feels the heat and shockwaves from the multiple detonations wash over her back. While she continues running forward, there is a hint of anxiety in her voice as she keys her communicator. Krolik, Vepley, are you alright? I'm okay. I just got hit by a few bullets. For some reason, I get the feeling I should bring a ranged weapon along next time. Flowing sands and running waters recede, then go still, at the furthest reaches of sunset. Okay, fine, you win! Now fire off the rest of your rounds and cover us. Vepley thinks the show went too well, but Mr. Pizza will give me strength. The sound of heavy gunfire comes over the transmission once again, and this time it's getting closer to the dolls. Groza can clearly tell that these black armored troopers are worlds apart from the enemies she's previously encountered. Their shooting technique and tactics mark them as veteran fighters, and they clearly understand the terrain. Although responses are slower than dolls, they can still attack the dolls from multiple angles while hugging cover, negating the advantages in accuracy and reaction speed which the dolls enjoy. The Elmo dolls are having a hard fight, and time is not on their side this time. Groza glances at the explosives in her backpack. So far, they haven't managed to set a single charge, and the IFVs pursuing them will not give them a chance to catch their breath. If they can't block off a single road giving access to the pass, then it's only a matter of time before the enemy's main force catches up and wipes them out. Groza squeezes her weapon's foregrip and thinks about what to do if the worst should come to pass. We fell for it. They weren't trying to delay us. They were planning to directly destroy us. They're smarter than we expected, using their advantage in numbers and firepower to overwhelm us. Still, they aren't dolls. They'll die when they're killed. We've taken out so many of them already. Doesn't their commander give a damn about their men? Groza doesn't know how to answer Krolik's question. Logically speaking, Most commanders would do as Krolik said and try to avoid unnecessary casualties. But the enemy's fighting spirit and morale hasn't fallen because of their losses. She can't apply normal preconception to these foes. There's no point in talking about all that. Leader, I'll delay the enemy. Hurry and bring down that building. We can't let Commander come back to the site of the Elmo in flames, right? That's right. Please, I'm counting on you. Groza ducks into the target building and unpacks enough explosives to bring this building down several times over before winding up with detonators and setting up the initiation sequence. However, the sound of IFV engines comes from nearby. Groza looks up, and her hands stop moving as she sees the scene before her. The IFVs that have been engaging the Elmo just now are heading down the road, going straight for the Elmo. Groza's heart fills with a despair she's never felt before as the unending stream of IFVs rumbles in. No matter how fast she works, there's no way she can finish planting all the explosives on all the building's load-bearing columns before the convoy passes by. Time seems to slow to a crawl, and in Groza's eyes, everything outside takes place in slow motion. In an instant, she remembers many things. Her life after parting ways with the commander, the scene of her reunion with him, the first time she downloaded her neural backup into this frame, the strange feeling from back then. She clearly promised the commander that she would protect everyone on the Elmo. No, she can't give up yet. She needs to complete her mission. And besides, she still has her last resort. Groza lays the explosives on the ground and quickly reconnects them before loading them onto her back. The circuit ends at a detonator whose time delay has been removed. Groza takes it in hand, discards her weapon, and jumps out in front of the first IFV. The driver reacts quickly. Its autocannon and its coaxial machine gun immediately begin tracking her movement, but Adal's dexterity and rapid reflexes allow her to easily avoid the attack. Immediately following, she throws herself into a slide to go under the IFV. Krolik, take charge in my place from now on. Bring everyone back to the Elmo immediately. Upon hearing Groza's words, Krolik's reply over the radio sounds frantic. Leader, what are you doing? I will keep the enemy vehicles from approaching the Elmo. Everything seems to be happening in slow motion. As she watches bullets kick up puffs of sand and dust around her, she suddenly feels a strange sense of liberation. Neural Upload Synchronization Command Section. Disable? Warning, this command entails a high degree of risk. Please reconfirm the disable order. Leader, talk to me! What are you doing? You can't. Not again! Confirmed. Command confirmed. Neural Upload Synchronization disabled. Time goes from slowing down to practically standing still. Groza watches herself gradually approach the undercarriage of the IFV. She even sees the driver's look of panic as he tries to pull out his handgun, but fails to do so in time. She sees the shell casings ejected by the turret guns, as well as each and every pebble thrown into the air by the shaking of the ground. She sees a strange blue-covered flower blossoming before her, and a blue butterfly flitting out of the flower's heart. And the final thing she sees is the commander's face, though for some reason, it seems a little blurred. A strange feeling wells up from the depths of her neural cloud. But the real stranger is herself, standing in front of the commander. That self wears a completely different uniform from her, and has a completely different expression on her face. A powerful wave of fatigue washes over Groza. She closes her eyes and stops thinking. Goodbye, Commander. Kaboom. Damn! That took a turn! Holy shit! Racing rescue. I miss this feeling from the past. Oh boy. Alright. Dr. Pepper gone. Time to switch to water. As the helicopter races through the jet black sky, it slowly descends and emerges from the cloud cover that prevents Ordos from noticing it. I can't help but worry as I look at my reflection in the window and back at the terminal in front of me. The terminal displays a connection lost icon. I sigh, then try to re-establish the communications link. Groza, do you read me? Come in, Elmo. However, the only thing I hear from my earpiece is the hissing of static. I've been trying to contact them throughout the entire fight, but I haven't been able to get through so far. I clench my fist and glance unhappily at the hovering Dandegate. Didn't you say you could maintain comms with the Elmo no matter the distance? That would require the local signal markers to be intact. So the nearby signal markers have all been destroyed. Considering the scale of the enemy attack Groza mentioned, that's definitely a possibility. It also means the opposition prepared their ambush well. While they're going up against the Elmo, I can't underestimate the reaction speed of those black-armored Mongi security troopers. I look out the window, and at the ground below. The pass I told the Elmo to head toward is right below us. I head over to the cockpit, where Sharkry and Centaurace are sitting in the pilot and co-pilot seats. Sharkry, descend to 200 meters and then maintain altitude. Okay. Have the helicopter's rocket pods been reloaded? Topped up and ready to go. Good. Centaurace, when we fly above the pass, try to use the vehicle radio to establish comms at short range. Commander, the enemy might discover us if we use the radio. It's alright, they won't be able to respond. The helicopter soars through the air above the pass, and I can see quite a number of ant-like vehicles swarming the entrance. There are intermittent flashes of light in the settlement at the mouth of the pass. There are people exchanging fire there, and it's plain to see that our people are among them. Looking further into the distance, I see the MBV crawling along as it trails a huge plume of black smoke. It's traveling slowly, but it's already drawn away from the firefight. Centaurace turns on the radio and I begin hailing it. Soon, I hear Mei Ling's voice amidst the noise. Mei Ling, do you read me? Commander? Thank goodness! I got through at last! Calm down, Mei Ling. What's happening now? We're being chased by lots of enemy armor. We're headed to the town you mentioned earlier, but there were enemies there waiting to ambush us. Leader Groza took the dolls out to intercept them, and she said she would blow up the road on this side. So they saw through it, huh? Can you contact Groza? No, I can't. Leader and the others haven't been responding since just now. Do you think they're in danger? I'll go back them up. You keep driving the Elmo and don't stop for anything. Got that? I got it, Commander. Please bring back Leader Groza and the others. Leave it to me. I put down the handset and return to the passenger cabin. I look around at the dolls holding their weapons and ammo, then begin handing out combat assignments. Diane, Zhangyu, Zhaohui, Centaurace, you'll be forming a squad to assist and relieve Groza's team. You already know who Groza is. The other three members of her team are a doll with bunny ears, a doll with a purple cape, and a doll with a M. Pizzaroos backpack. You should be able to recognize them at a glance. Don't get stuck in with the enemy. Find them and bring them back to the chopper ASAP. Understood. We'll take care of it, Commander. Time to show you the power of an elite doll, Commander. Kolfne, you're in charge of protecting Melanie. Do not leave her side for a moment. Yup. Are you alright with that, Melanie? I'm okay. Alright, prepare to move out. I head back to the cockpit, instructing Sharkry to overfly the firefight. Once we're above it, I punch out a largely intact building, and Sharkry immediately picks up on what I want and descends. Let's go. Centaurace and Diane open the hatches on their respective sides of the chopper, and a ferocious downwash screams from outside. The dolls stand by the open doors while Kolfne shields Melanie from the howling winds with her body. The helicopter nears the target building. The dolls jump out when it's roughly 10 meters above the roof. Ha! Time for a Griffin airdrop! Watch this, big sis! Zhang Yu does a magnificent flip in midair before touching down. Diane, who has touched down alongside her, glances at her sister before approaching her. Be careful, Zhang Yu. We're in a combat zone now. But that's what I want! It feels just like old times! So this is what you used to do. No wonder you're always so restless. Why, you jelly? Ladies of Monsoon, let's head out. Pardon us, Miss Centaurace. Let's go. The dolls dart into the building, and the helicopter pulls up again as it heads towards the mouth of the pass. Looks like it's about time. From the co-pilot seat, I see multiple IFVs working their their way through the town area. They're driving single file toward the Elmo. The perfect opportunity for us. Sharkry, target this road and blow all those IFVs to scrap. Will do. The helicopter adjusts its position as it hovers, then plunges in for a strafing run. Rockets scream out of their pods in rapid succession, and explosions erupt along the length of the road, turning the IFVs into burning wrecks. Rosa feels her frame hit the ground hard with a dull thud. In the wake of the deafening explosions, the walls of the pass crumble and the ruined buildings nearly collapse, engulfing the fleeing Mongi security troopers. She can hear their screams. She can see the mangled remains of humans that have been blasted into gory chunks, and she can feel their hot blood raining down on her. But, wait a minute. Didn't she just... Rosa thinks back to what she was doing before she found herself collapsed on the ground. Do dolls feel like this after they blow themselves up? It doesn't seem any different from normal. She recalled a time when scientific advancement in this world was still limited, and humans believed that after death, they would become something called ghosts, entities left behind after one's death. Then, is she some kind of data ghost now? Rosa lies motionless, trying to clear her head. In her recollection, she was preparing to press the button on her detonator. But then the IFV before her suddenly exploded, and the massive shockwave sent her flying. Rosa looks down at her right hand. The detonator is still there, but she didn't press it. Then what was that explosion just now? Before she can think about it, the sounds of more gunfire and explosions come from the other side of the rubble. Oh, so the helicopter blew up the IFVs before she could. Kaboom! Looks like the opposition hasn't given up yet. They're trying to blast a hole in the debris and fallen rock blocking the path, so the troops outside can get inside and continue fighting. Once again, there is another deafening explosion. Rocks and debris fly everywhere, and the blocked passage shows signs of clearing. Another one in. Kaboom. The rubble blocking the path is completely blown away. She can hear Mongi troopers approaching, so close that she can see their gray helmets through the breach. Is this the end? No, not yet. Bullets suddenly fly past her, accurately striking the Mongi troopers in the head. Shocked, Rosa looks back and sees the dolls rushing out of the smoke and running to her side. Miss Rosa, are you all right? Eh? How do I roll for Sharkry in a helicopter? We might have to wait 2 years for that. Welcome in, High Taxes. I think we're on mission 7. Are you? The reinforcements sent by the commander? Miss Rosa, do you not remember me? Yes, I am. Master sent me to help you withdraw. Where are the other dolls? There. They're behind me, fighting in the streets. They're engaged with the enemy. They need backup. That's too long. That's the nature of gacha games. Understood. Miss Diane, please take Monsoon Squad and reinforce the other dolls. I'll help evacuate Miss Rosa. Understood. We'll leave things on this side to you. Please stay still, Miss Rosa. You've sustained severe damage to your frame. I'll drag you out of there. Nemesis, what happened to your cover fire? Departure. Lost and hidden friends. What do you mean you ran out of ammo? And now of all times? Get it together already. Are there dolls approaching us from over there? They're fast. Are the enemies? Don't shoot. We're friendlies. Are you dolls from the Elmo? Yes, we are. We're from Monsoon Squad. The commander sent us to back you up. We'll be covering your withdrawal. So the commander sent you. But leader's still out there. Our teammate will bring her back. Let's take care of the enemies in front of us first, shall we? Sounds great. Time to give those bastards a spanking. Alright, achieve victory. Eliminate all... Pff, that's easy. That's so easy. Just we can just... Alright, so we can just go in here, go in here. Just park Mosin up here. Snipe anyone who comes in. Easy. Easy. So easy. Alright. Oh, big deal. You got a mechanical dog. It doesn't even look cool. It doesn't look like a dog at all. What are you thinking? Alright. Yep. Hey, check this out. Probably won't take him out, but it always does a big chunk of damage. And yeah, just park here. Alright, can we get all of them? We can get some of them. Get that counterattack up. And then take this guy out. Easy. It looks so stupid. That was your plan? What was your plan? What was your plan? Like, if this is all you got, frankly, it looks stupid that it did like % damage to my Vepli. I need to level up my Vepli too. I've just been kind of focusing on just the 2 bulwarks I had, the few elite dolls I had. Okay. Well, this will destroy pretty much everything. GG easy. Like, I already have like 8 dolls at level 60. It's like Mosin Nagant, QJ, Tololo, Rosa, Sabrina, Suomi, Sharkri. The red-haired woman anxiously studies the messages on the screen, not even realizing that her cigarette has almost burned itself out. Half of the IFVs she sent to the town have been destroyed. The other half have been wedged outside by fallen rocks and rubble. My Vepli was 59, still did half my damage. And I saw the damage was % based. Damn. Meanwhile, there's a ceaseless stream of casualty reports from our Omen forces. Just now, the dolls that jumped out of that helicopter had completely eliminated any chance she had of wiping out those encircled dolls. That helicopter had shown up with incredible timing and practically destroyed her entire deployment in an instant. Could it be that the fleeing MBV had only been a decoy? Was she the one being ambushed all along? The confidence she had started with crumbles in an instant, and Lentine can't help but wonder if there's a bigger trap waiting for her behind all this. Any other person would probably not be able to do it, but she can't even begin to imagine what kind of strategies that man who came back from Frankfurt could employ. Lentine's underestimation of him has already cost her dearly, and right now, she knows that her only choice is no choice at all. Contact all squads. Have them begin withdrawing. Load up the dead and wounded where possible. Return to our muster point. But Adjutant, we can still fight. We still have those dolls surrounded. And what if they have more dolls lying in wait for us? But we still have a perimeter lockdown mission ahead of us. We can't lose any more men. Bring everyone back now. Yes, ma'am. Damn it! Kenny angrily punches his seat before leaving the IFE. He doesn't look back. It's only now that Lentine notices the burning pain at her fingertips. She clicks her tongue and drops the cigarette butt. Its lingering heat scorches a black-edged circle on the intelligence report lying on the floor of the vehicle. Lentine picks it up, preparing to throw the pages that made her lose so much of the vehicle. However, her hand stops halfway, and Lentine instead throws the report back on the ground. Yeah, I'm starting to think that Lentine has some sort of connection to the commander in the past. There's a strange feeling in her heart. It's been there for a full 10 years, appearing in her dreams, showing up whenever she doubted herself, forcing her to find all kinds of excuses for her actions in order to get it under control. As it is, she can no longer hold it back, the feeling that utterly denies all the choices she has made, an emotion that completely crushes her soul in the dirt. So is this a retcon then, if she wasn't in the first game? How? How is it that he can still beat me, even after falling so far? Why would he give up on everything, even though he's this capable? It makes no sense. She has to ask him and find the answer to that question. Lentine grabs her gun and stands up, throwing open the IFV's hatch. Supposedly, the first game has not ended story-wise. Okay, so there's still some gaps we can fill in. She clenches her fist, driving her nail so deeply into her palm that blood begins welling up and dripping from her hand. It shouldn't. Things shouldn't be this way. Oh, but they are. Come on, load up. Monsoon Squad brings the Elmo dolls to the roof of a nearby building. As the helicopter slowly touches down, I open the hatch so the dolls can rush inside. Diane and the others bring Krolik, Vepley, and Nemesis with them into the helicopter, which makes the passenger compartment feel a little cramped. Xiaohui and Jiang Yu reflexively take up positions on the edges of the cabin, guns raised and scanning their surroundings. Commander, where'd you get all these people from? They're old friends. Where's Groza? Miss Santarossi said she was helping to evacuate Groza. I look down, but there's no sign of them. I pick up the handset and hail Santarossi. Santarossi, where are you two? Master, Miss Groza is badly hurt. The enemy caught up to us and we're trying to hold them off. Find a way to indicate your location. Got it. I hear a magazine change over the transmission. Shortly afterwards, I see a stream of tracer rounds hurtle into the sky. I immediately point in that direction and order Sharkry to dust off. Once we reach the area above the tracers, I can clearly make out Santarossi and Groza fighting off the enemy from behind cover. Jiang Yu and Xiaohui immediately rake the enemy support weapons with gunshots, and the suppressive fire from the distance eases off. Santarossi looks up at the helicopter and takes advantage of the lull in the shooting to grab Groza and head to the nearest roof. Wah! A pair of missiles fly toward the helicopter, but fortunately Sharkry had been slowly orbiting the site and dodges them. Diane moves up to the doorway and joins the other dolls in suppressing the source of those rockets. Meanwhile, I get Sharkry to rapidly descend and get as close to the building's edge as possible. Just as the helicopter levels out, Santarossi appears on the roof, carrying Groza. She winds her steps and picks up speed, jumping off the roof with Groza. The two of them slam into the helicopter like a cannonball. Fortunately, the other dolls help them soften the impact. Diane helps Santarossi lay Groza on the cabin floor, while Jiang Yu immediately closes the hatch. Seeing that everyone is on board, Sharkry immediately climbs into the air, beating a hasty retreat while being pursued by more rockets. The helicopter flies towards the Elmo. Fortunately, the roof landing pad isn't too badly damaged. Sharkry lands the chopper on the Elmo. The dolls dismount, waiting for further instructions. I look into the distance. The Elmo is clear of that ruined town, and the enemy shows no intention of continuing the pursuit. I sigh in relief, then turn my attention back to the dolls. Groza's frame is riddled with shrapnel. Krolik and Nemesis are carefully unloading her from the helicopter. Groza, are you alright? I'm fine. I'm sorry. I almost failed to complete my mission. It was my fault for coming back late. Don't speak. You need repairs. Groza nods and closes her eyes. I hear the chime of the hangar elevator nearby. A mailing rushes out as the door opens. Commander! Leader! Leader, are you okay? Groza shakes her head, but does not respond. Mailing, you've done a great job. Now I need you to do a little more. Got it. I'll start fixing Lita right now. With Mei Ling urging them on, Krolek and Nemesis help Groza to the repair bay. Will Lita really be alright? I hope it's just surface level damage. We have to wait for Mei Ling to finish running diagnostics. Speaking of diagnostics, why don't you give Melanie a checkup? After that, we can get her a room to rest in. Alright, come with me, okay, Melanie? Melanie glances at me, then obediently follows Kolfney down the stairs. I have Vepley give the other dolls a tour of the Elmo, which also includes performing a damage assessment of the stricken areas. I head back to the ops room. Thanks to the recent attack, it's a total mess. Glass panels have been broken, and fragments are everywhere. I can't help but sigh as I think about how the Elmo had just been repaired not long ago, only for it to be reduced to this state once again. I sit back down on my chair. Who would have thought so many things would have happened in the course of just one day? The hitherto silent Dandygate flies above my head once again. Dandelion's smug voice rings out from above me. What an exciting day this was, Commander. Does it remind you of your Griffin days? I can't help but be reminded of them. I reach up to grab the Dandygate above my head, but it nimbly evades my grasp. The Dandygate flies before me and projects Dandelion's face again. She is yawning and stretching lazily. So, were the day's events a coincidence that you arranged too? How could that be? The only coincidence I arranged was for you to meet Monsoon and the Zucchero, but then you ended up rewriting the script in your own way. I had nothing to do with the encounter in that underground lab, the fight with Mongi's security, or that girl. Oh, really? Anyway, about that data you found in that underground lab. Have you learned anything yet? I found a piece of information before we left the range of the signal marker network. As it turns out, there has been a string of missing persons and cultist activity cases filed with the police departments of the various major districts in the nearby satellite cities. So far, I've read through 800 plus reports, over 13,000 pictures, 46 videos, and the material involves over 1,000 people. Right now, I'm trying to analyze similarities and sort them to see if I can find any clues. However, the reports are all highly disorganized, and there are signs of systematic internal tampering in addition to the confusing information. What? So, give me a little more time, okay? It's only been half a day. Even I can't digest all this at once. The rest will just have to wait until my connection to the signal marker network is restored. However, there seems to be some similarities between the experiment you found and what Hyde 404 is investigating. Perhaps they might be able to give you a lead to follow. I trust you haven't forgotten them yet. How could I ever? Lena assigned you to go pick them up, right? Groza and the others were attacked on the road to get them. They were probably the same people as the ones who attacked 404. That's my guess too. According to the PMC registration database, Mongi Security is supposed to be a small independent company with less than 100 employees to their name. It looks like the Gnomefolk must have messed up really badly if they managed to overlook a company with this level of equipment and manpower. We'll tell Colin about this afterwards. However, we've been cut off since just now. We can't contact anyone, be they 404 or Lena. The enemy is smart. They knew to destroy the signal markers. However, I doubt this will pose a problem for 404. You mean? I mean something like this. Dandelion points to the ops room's main terminal. Suddenly, it buzzes with a comms request. I glance at Dandelion, and then I warily put it through. Hey, looks like I finally got through. Man, it sure was hard fixing a signal marker with hardware this old. Man, Klukai would have killed me if I didn't fix it. Ugh, just thinking about it scares me. For a moment, I'm not sure how to answer. There's a look of doubt on my voice as I listen to the voice on the line. No response? Hello? Can you hear me? I'm connected, right? You haven't forgotten who I am, have you, Commander? There is a brief burst of noise. The video window dissolves into static, then clears up. There is a man with his back to the camera. He seems to be banging on something. There is a burst of sparks. Then the man throws his wrench aside and slowly turns around. As he does, the man's face is revealed by the cold light of the overhead fluorescent lamps. Wait a minute. Is that you, dear? Two more, and we've been at this for 2 hours, and we had to clear. It's like every one takes half an hour to do. Third generation doll. A third generation doll costs as much as a skyscraper. Skill issue. Alright. Outside the Elmo's windows, a sandy gust of wind speeds through the darkened sky. There are no e-lit corpses here or nauseating monsters. The endless sands are as clean as though nothing had ever happened. The helicopter slowly lands on the Elmo. The dolls open the hatch and jump down from the chopper, while Deer follows behind them as he touches down on the Elmo. After receiving Deer's distress signal, Centaurasi took Diane and the others to the beacon station where Deer is. As per our previous comms, I learned that he had come to offer assistance after 404 had gone missing, but by the time he arrived at their location, he found that all the signal markers in the region had been destroyed and that Mongi's security had seized control of all the roads leading in and out. In the end, he became trapped there. Fortunately, Lena had given him the Elmo's comm code, so he managed to contact us after fixing a signal marker. We didn't encounter any enemies at the signal marker. The helicopter returned to the Elmo after taking Deer aboard. The dolls returned to the repair bay to rest, while Deer came to the ops room. I give him a quick once-over and can't help but feel unfamiliar with his look. What's wrong, Commander? Why are you looking at me like that? Well, it's been a long time since I last saw you. I didn't expect you to grow up like this. Well, I am a human after all. Our looks are different from dolls. We grow up fast. Yes, of course I know that. That said, what's more interesting is that you're still helping out Squad 404. There are times when I ask myself, why am I even putting myself through all this crap? But hey, in for a penny, in for a pound, right? Besides, I heard that the Elmo would be helping them out, and I always wanted to take a look around the Elmo. Is this thing really that interesting? Of course it is! After all, it's a cutting-edge IOP product. The final glory of the NSU's heavy industry. A one-of-a-kind model whose like will never be seen again. Yeah, it sounds pretty awesome. Honestly, you don't even know how valuable this thing is, do you, Commander? All I know is that thanks to its workshop bills, I have trouble just getting enough water to drink as it is. Hey, you get what you pay for. Would you mind if I upgrade the comm system over there? Be my guest. I step aside and Deer takes a bunch of strange devices before starting work on the command console. After some banging and fiddling, I see a screen on the console's monitor that I've never seen before. What's this? I upgraded the Elmo's comm systems and also set up a temporary encrypted comms channel. I'm sure there were cases in the past where your transmissions were leaked to the outside world, right? Why do you ask? Lena told me about it. She said that after Miss Kalina found out that the Namfa's comms had been cracked by others in multiple occasions, she told 404 about it and asked them to improve their signal encryption. Leva felt that relying on encrypted channel alone was pointless, so not only did she boost the encryption on all their communications, she also installed a honey trap in 404's information systems. Any visitors who haven't been invited by 404 will receive a special surprise from them. Unfortunately, the upgraded technology still hasn't managed to catch that visitor who's turned up so many times before. The encrypted comm channel I set up there is similar to the one Squad 404 is using now. This way, we can better ensure data security between both sides. If that's the case, Kalina had best upgrade on her end too. Well, about that. I don't dare to mess around lightly when things on Namfa's end. Although, I think that's where the biggest hole in security is. So you think the NOMFA is problematic? Like, it would be strange if a government organization of that level didn't have loopholes, right? I fall silent for a while and don't respond to Deer's words. In principle, I trust Colin unconditionally, but she's part of the NOMFA, and I can't make up my mind about them right away. After some thought, I decide to change the subject. Oh, yes. You were saying that Lena asked you to come over? Mm-hmm. Earlier, Klukai mentioned that having trouble getting network signal, so Lena sent me to help troubleshoot things for her. At first, I thought it was just a standard mission, so I took my family helicopter over and paid for transportation and tools myself. Now that I think about it, Klukai really is too stingy. So you entered the yellow zone all by yourself? Well, the danger level for this place wasn't high, and my truck had good specs, so the Varyagers had trouble catching up. I thought I could just find a signal marker, drop off an enhanced base station, and be done with it. But turns out every signal marker I encountered along the way was completely destroyed. The only one whose internals I could even begin to repair was the last one. After that, I found out the way out was completely controlled by Mongi forces. I figured they'd shoot me full of holes first, even if I tried to go back. Luckily, I met you, Commander. Otherwise, I'd have been totally screwed. Saying so, Deer fiddles with the console interface and rescans for new transmission channels. The moment the rescan finishes, a shining point immediately appears on the screen. What's this? It's a transmission base station. It's broadcasting right now. Can I connect to it? Yes, do it now. Deer connects to the transmission. A rapid, loud voice speaks over the channel. 3762nd Platoon of the 7th Environmental Survey Corps. We have an emergency and need support. I repeat, we need support. Survey Corps? Aren't those the forces that 404 are working with? Can we communicate with them? No, there's no response. This is an audio clip on a loop broadcast. Can we backtrace their signal then? Sure we can. Alright, location confirmed. They're not far away. I pick up my terminal and contact Centaurecy. Master? Centaurecy, I have a new assignment for you. Get ready for battle, along with Monsoon Squad. Meet in the hangar. Understood. Preparing now. I have Deer send the coordinates to the dolls and look out to the night sky, as dark and mysterious as this mission. This might be our break in finding Hyde 404. Alright. Itsudemodozo. Okay. 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 We got this. How many enemies are 5? Really? Just 5? Okay. 1, 2, 3. Wait. Oh, they're all over there. They're all the way over there. I see. This is fine. Suomi took them out. Suomi, the support unit. Pop, pop. Easy. And just put on shield for good measure. Everyone has shelter. Oh, look at this Virgil wannabe. It's like, what was your plan? Somehow this does more damage. Hey. Nice hiding spot, loser. Now get shot. Critical damage up. Was that even necessary? The helicopter takes off from the Elmo. I decide to head over to the repair bay while watching for news. I leave the ops room after telling the Dandygate to keep an eye on the Elmo's status and his surroundings. Deer follows me down too. When we enter the repair bay, we see Mei Ling performing the final adjustments on Groza, while the other dolls keep her company. Ah, Commander, you're here. Yup, how are things? Mei Ling says things are okay, but just now, Leader. Krolik immediately shuts up when she realizes what's going on, pushes Nemesis and Vepley out of the room. Right, we're gonna go check on the rest of the Elmo. You guys have a good chat, Commander. After the dolls leave the room, Groza sits up on the diagnostics lab. Groza, are you alright? Commander, I'm fine. Thank you for sending help. Yeah, things were really close out there. Mei Ling, how is Leader's frame? I was just startled when I first saw her, but when I ran my diagnostics, I realized there weren't that many penetrating injuries. Fortunately, most of the wounds were caused by shrapnel. While they caused a certain amount of damage to her limbs, we can fix them with replacement parts. That's good to hear. After seeing that Groza is alright, I managed to calm down at last. I step aside to make room for Deer, then introduce him to Groza and Mei Ling. This is Mei Ling. She's the Elmo's chief engineer. Groza is the leader of the Elmo's doll squad. Deer nods to them. Mei Ling returns a nod, a little timidly. And this is Deer. I guess you could call him 404's... just call me 404's technician. I'll do everything I can to help you out during the upcoming operation. Nice meeting you. Oh, alright. Groza nods to Deer. For some reason, Groza seems to be acting strangely. Suddenly, Deer's eyes light up and he excitedly rushes over to the slab behind Groza. Puzzled, I follow his movements with my eyes and see him practically skip over to where Sexton's is lying. Sexton's frame had been badly damaged. Just about all her exposed skin had been destroyed, and her body is so badly deformed. You even have a third-generation doll? You know this is a third-gen doll? Of course I do! This is the latest tech developed by the Olrog conglomerate. Even the core collaborator companies who are working on it need to wait in line for 6 months just to look at the relevant files. I can't believe you've gotten so rich and powerful after not seeing you for so long, Commander. Oh. I just picked her up by accident. By accident? A third-generation doll costs as much as a skyscraper. And that's just the financial cost alone. This isn't the sort of problem you can solve with money. Oh. Well. It's a long story. We fought her during a previous mission, and then she suddenly showed up near the Elmo. We dragged her on board and we smacked her around for a bit. To think you actually managed to beat a monster of that level. Looks like you've been lying about your combat strength, Commander. Well, not really. There seemed to be something wrong with her when we ran into her. Both her perceptions and memories were confused. Maybe you could help me take a look at her. Happy to help. Still, in her current state, well, the materials for repairing her would cost an astronomical sum. I coughed to hide my awkwardness. Is there a cheap way to do it? Cost aside, the main problem is that my understanding of third-generation dolls is surface level at best. Frankly speaking, I don't have much confidence in doing it. Well, you've got a chance now. Yeah, I think so too. Well, since I've got a chance to take a crack at this, don't mind if I do. Deer pulls out his toolbox and produces a plethora of instruments I have never seen before. After plugging all manner of cables into Sexton's access ports, Deer's instruments begin to flash and make noises. It's a mess in there. Junk code and bad sectors everywhere. Her brain was pretty much mush when we met her. Upon seeing that we're discussing Sextons, Mei Ling helps Groza off her slab and walks over to me. While you weren't around, Leader tried hacking into our neural cloud to gather information. Why did you take that risk? Her firewalls were down, so I judged that hacking into her would not pose any risks. I see. So, did you make any progress? Her neural cloud was a mess when I hacked in. My guess is that it was severely damaged by a fusion experiment. I tried connecting to her level 3 base layer and learned some things. Apparently, someone ran an experiment on her and deliberately destroyed her. However, her internal files were too badly damaged I couldn't make out any details. I see. Dear, I'll need the information in her neural cloud. Please help me fix her neural cloud as best you can. Why don't you ask for the moon too while you're at it? Deer takes out another little electronic device and hooks it up to several small cables from Sexton's head. After a while, the connections crackle and throw off sparks, even setting the device near is holding on fire. Short circuit. How is it? It's like what Leader Groza said. Someone wrecked this 3rd gen doll's neural cloud, almost to the point of complete destruction. Whoever did that targeted all the vital and irrecoverable parts of the neural cloud. See, although her frame structure is still largely intact, it's almost inoperable. It's kind of like if a neurosurgeon went and severed linkages in a human brain. There aren't any destroyed nodes, but the neural cloud module is pretty much a write-off. Also, it seems her body. Deer narrows his eyes and carefully studies an almost destroyed portion of Sexton's epidermal layer. Is something wrong? No. Still, why would anyone make a doll frame out of this? Pretty imaginative, I have to say. Is there any material you haven't seen before? Well, it's not like I haven't seen it before. Just that I never thought anyone would make a frame out of it. Get to the point. What is it? Deer thinks for a moment, then reaches into his toolbox and takes out something that looks like a microscope. He looks for a place on Sexton's body, then sets it up and calls me over. Here, Commander, take a look. What is this? It looks like some kind of biological tissue, or rather, some kind of cells. Looks like someone was trying to fuse this doll's frame materials with some kind of cell. That's a little surprising. The cells don't look very active. Looks like the fusion didn't work. I think about what Deer is saying, and then I suddenly sense someone staring at me. When I turn around, I suddenly notice a little figure standing in the doorway. There's a pitter-patter of footsteps, and then Kolfne appears from the doorway as well, grabbing the arm of the little figure. Melanie, what are you doing here? There's something here. Melanie? Upon hearing my words, Melanie reflexively backs away. So, you adopted a daughter as well? Look, it's a really long story. Hi! Hello, Melanie! Melanie backs away even further. Do I really look that scary? Kolfne, what were the results of her checkup? Melanie's vital signs are all stable. Too stable, in fact. Melanie ignores the exchange between Kolfne and me. She raises her hand and points to the doll behind me before addressing me directly. I want to see that doll. That doll? I point to Sexton's. You mean her? Melanie nods. Sure, I guess. Melanie approaches us. Suddenly, a chill runs down my spine and my hand reflexively reaches for the gun at my waist. Upon realizing what I'm doing, I quickly turn aside so she doesn't see me and fold my arms across my chest. She walks up to Sexton's and looks her up and down. Finally, her gaze settles on the position where we discovered the signs of cellular fusion. I knew it. Knew what? Have you seen her before? Not this one, but she looks a lot like the ones I saw before. She also has signs of this fusion. Melanie's words make me stiffen up. Do you know what these signs of fusion are? They're from Boojum extracts. They show signs like this after fusion. Boojum cell structures? Hang on! Cell activity has suddenly increased. Deer quickly checks on Sexton's condition. Groza walks up in front of me and reflexively takes up a defensive position, while Kolfne pulls Mailing and Melanie away. Be careful, Commander. Logically speaking, the chances of her self-repairing like this should be vanishingly low, but the characteristics of Booj themselves might actually end up coming into play here. Self-repair, huh? So a doll who can self-repair, and a 3rd-gen doll at that. Well, that's interesting. Looks like she's recovering faster than expected. Her neurocloud is rebooting. The bad sectors are actually accepting connections. Deer stares incredulously at the instruments he's holding, while Grosley wearily raises her gun and points it at Sextons while shouting to Kolfne. Get Mei-Ling and that girl out of here. Okay. Kolfne drags Mei-Ling and Melanie outside. Melanie keeps looking back as she goes. After Kolfne closes the door behind her, I return my attention to Sextons. Can you repair her neurocloud backup logs while at it? I'm doing it right now. Reboot. Successful. Local neurocloud backup. Activated. Backup failed. Reboot. Successful. Neurocloud backup. Activated. Now connecting to remote database. Remote database connection. Failed. Rebooting in local mode. System online. Now loading affiliation data. Affiliation ID. Failed. Sextons opens her eyes but remains still. She looks at me, her eyes filled with confusion. Are you my master? What is this, Fate's Day night? Your master? Sextons walks towards me and extends a hand. I reflexively reach out to take it, but Groza blocks me. Commander, she poses a huge threat. You mustn't lower her guard. Deer quickly works on his instruments, and then he suddenly chuckles. Commander, looks like you might actually become her new master. Go get that grail. I mean, we could just dress Groza up as Saber and nobody would be able to tell the difference. What do you mean? Well, her affiliation and authorization data have been completely cleared out and her systems are back to their default state. If you like, you can take ownership of her. Does that mean anything? Of course it does. That way you can easily retrieve those neurologs you wanted. I mean, the only human here who can do this is you, right, Commander? I glance at Groza. She doesn't look at me. Her gun is still trained on Sextons. If it'll aid your mission, then you should assume ownership of her. Oh. I nod, and Deer immediately begins tapping away on his touchscreen. Sexton's eyes briefly flash. Soon, Deer puts his instruments down and confidently addresses me. Done. She won't regard you guys as enemies anymore, and her neurocloud is reconstructing itself. Also, I found something neat. Something neat? She has an IFF key in her database. Do you know what that means? Are you saying that anything the key regards as a friendly is actually an enemy to us? That's right. See, all the combat logs from nearby have been transmitted to her neurocloud. My guess is that these friendly coordinates show the movements of Mongi security forces. There's no other PMC with so many guys in this shitty part of the Yellow Zone. So the 3rd-gen dolls are also linked to Mongi security. I mean, that much is obvious, right? 3rd-gen dolls were the product of the conglomerate to begin with. Yeah. So, if we have more precise location for Hyde 404, we can use Sextons to backtrace them through Mongi security positions. I nod. Then my terminal suddenly rings. Commander, do you read me? Loud and clear. Go ahead. We found the coordinates, and we ran into a small detachment of Mongi security personnel. There were a few in number, and we have already eliminated them. We found a couple of Survey Corps troopers during the firefight. One perished, and the other is very badly wounded. Can you send him back to the Omo for treatment? His wounds are severe, and we cannot move him easily. Miss Diane is administering first aid, but... Diane, what's that trooper's condition? His bleeding isn't stopping. At this rate, he won't last long. Are you dolls? Let me speak with your commander. Master, he... Patch him in. Will do. We're from 37th 62nd Platoon of the 7th Environmental Survey Corps. We're bounty hunters who were passing by and picked up your distress signal. Can you tell me what happened to you? Thank you. While carrying out our mission, we encountered many Elids and enemies from an unknown faction. that destroyed all the signal markers nearby. I knew it. While we were setting up a signal base station, we were attacked by mercenaries from Mongi Security. Our mission can't end with us, for the sake of our brothers. Please stay still. You're in critical condition. Right now, I am conscripting your dolls in the name of the 7th Survey Corps. Please head to our position and provide backup. Our main force has been surrounded. If you help, I'm sure the 1st Sergeant will reward you well. Understood. We'll help you. Thank you. Hang in there. Don't give up. Remember, you're promised. Commander, he's not breathing. Centaurasi, please bury them. Let them rest in peace. Also, bring their dog tags back to the Elmo. Alright. I end the transmission and sigh heavily. I guess that things would turn out this way. But I still can't but feel a little sad for those soldiers. Dear, you said Hyde 404 was accompanying the Survey Corps, right? That's what Klukai said, yes. So the base station they struggled to build should be nearby. Have sextants prepared to backtrace them. Groza, take our remaining dolls. Use sextants as a guide to find Hyde 404. Understood. We have to find them. You can't waste what those soldiers spent their lives to protect. I still can't believe it's going to take 3 hours to clear out 6 missions. There's just so much reading. I mean, I like reading, but still. Signal decryption. The most important thing now is to rebuild relationships. We hurry back to the ops room. Deer heads to the comms hub and begins connecting to the equipment. Can you find 404's location with the base station? I'm trying, but my guess is that it's not too likely. The base station might be mil-spec hardware, but Mongi Security already knows it exists. So in addition to sending people to destroy it, they'll increase their efforts in jamming its signal. The communications hub emits a signal loss tone, validating Deer's thinking. Didn't work, like I expected. Still, there might be hope if we can use sextants to help. Hang on. Deer crawls under the command terminal and begins installing some extra equipment. Meanwhile, I use this time to contact Centaurasi. Centaurasi, how are things now? We've buried the soldiers. The base station seems to be running normally. Right, spread out and establish a defense line. Now that Mongi knows they've failed, they'll send more people over to counterattack. You must ensure the base station is secure. Understood, Master. We won't disappoint you. Deer emerges from under the command terminal and taps several locations on the touchscreen, whereupon their menus begin to change. Right. I copied over the frequency settings from the military base station. This way, the Elmo can use it as a relay to search for nearby Mongi security signals. Well done. Groza, do you read me? Go ahead, Commander. Connect to Sexton's level 2 and see if you can find any treasure. Got it. Working now. Groza ends the transmission. Soon, Sexton's IFF key is transmitted to the Elmo systems. This military base station has great coverage. Now, for the nearby signal traces. What's wrong? The good news is that this IFF key is really effective. It's picking up traces of every single position Mongi forces have been to. The bad news is, it's picking up traces of every single position Mongi forces have been to, so they're all over the map. I look at the map after signal analysis has been done. Our surroundings are covered in red dots. Looks like you really are earning their paychecks. Let's think about this from a different angle. Look for signal traces belonging to the highest rank contacts among these. Deer gets my meaning. He nods and immediately begins working on the task. Got it. There are 2 sets of signal traces corresponding to highly encrypted wavelengths. The first was active between half a month to 1 day ago, while the other suddenly appeared a day ago. Looks like we found them. Can we try to pinpoint those signal location? One moment. Nope. Looks like they're using a different communications network from the east of Mongi Security. We can't obtain their exact location with Sexton's permissions. However, if we can use Sexton's permissions to connect to that network and crack their firewall, we might be able to see their location. That said, it will probably take a full day to crack it with the Elmo's current equipment. Well, we'll just start by trying to crack it. Deer begins his work. Like he said, the progress bar on the monitor is crawling along. I sink into thought. Then I suddenly think of something and look toward the Dandygate. Say, Dandelion, isn't cracking your forte? You're terrible, Commander. You only want me for my cryptanalysis. It's enough to make me cry. I'm sorry, can you help us out? Well, like that boy said, the Elmo systems don't support cracking. As for me, my processing power is limited to that of this tiny Dandygate. Have you forgotten that all the signal markers are destroyed, and my connection to the outside world has been severed? Ah, Commander, look at this! Deer suddenly exclaims as I look at the command terminal screen. The opposition signal security level has suddenly fallen. Deer begins tapping on the screen before I can tell him to. Wait, they voluntarily lowered their own security level? There's a chance now. They lowered it? Did they encounter 404? So they lowered their security level to be compatible with 404 security channels? That means we don't have much time to do this, given our current speed. The progress bar visibly picks up speed, but the estimated completion time shows that the operation will still take close to an hour to finish. Damn it, we're still too slow. The Dandygate flies up to the screen with its mono-eye flashes. Then, Dandelion projects her image and smiles smugly as she speaks to me. Well, if they lowered their security to this level, I might be able to do something about it. However, I cannot handle an encrypted signal of this level alone. Tell me, what do you need? You know me so well, Commander. Can I borrow those cute little dolls of yours? You're not going to do anything dangerous, are you? Relax. I'll return them all in one piece after I'm done. I'll set myself up as the relay, so even if the offensive bearers trigger, I'll be the only one to melt down. Well, have I allayed your concern? I eye the Dandygate dubiously and then contact Rosa. Soon, processing power reaches the command system. The Dandygate perches on the command terminal and begins to work. Looks like there were offensive barriers after all. Time for me to show what I can do. Everyone, I need you to focus your forces on the weakest part of the enemy protocol. I'll assist you from the outside and keep you from being contaminated by the enemy data. If we're ready, let's go. Alright. Limited. That's easy. EG. GGEG. Alright. Doggy. It doesn't even look like a dog. Where's your sense of aesthetics, man? Alright. We do this. Gets knocked out of the sky. Okay. Really? Really? Okay. Well, I don't want to knock him away too far. And then, wait, no, and then, wait. What do you mean I'm clicking the wrong place? There we go. Listen, it's your own fault for being a flying unit. For some reason, even though I beat this guy, the Mechanist, his quote-unquote dog still remains. Very confusing. And this little mecha hound doesn't even deserve to be called a hound. I think hound is a bit of a stretch. What was your plan? We're in. Connect to the channel. The system indicates that the cracking was successful and Deer begins eavesdropping on them. After some crackling noises, a couple of voices are clearly audible on the channel. I'm here now. Belka, destroy the amplifier. 404, cut all comms now. That's Klukai's voice. So they've encountered each other already. What should we do? Should we contact 404? No can do. They've gone silent, and using a Mongi frequency to establish comms would be too risky. Can we obtain their position from the transmission just now? Sure can. Right, send it to Groza. Groza, we've got an approximate location for 404. Sending it over now. Head there ASAP. Also, take sextants with you. Use her to correct your course along the way. Must we? She can perform course corrections from aboard the Elmo. The opposition's permissions outrank Sexton's, so it might be another third-gen doll. Right now, she's affiliated with the Elmo, so having some extra fighting power will help with the upcoming op. Understood. I'll leave Nemesis and Kolfne here to defend the Elmo. Everyone else will go help hide 404. Roger that. I'm counting on you. Groza ends the transmission and prepares to head out. As for me, I pause to think before sending a transmission to Centauresi. Centauresi, sit rep. The enemy has attempted 2 counterattacks. We've repulsed them both. They might continue trying to seize this location. Abandon the base station and return to the Elmo. Just like that, Master? Mongi will lower their guard once we abandon the base station. However, I think for a moment. Before that, send one last message from it. What kind of message? Use Morse code and broadcast in clear text. Where are you? Alright, I will do so now. Soon, Groza's jeep leaves the Elmo and races off to the distance. Meanwhile, a series of long, short tones repeat through my earpiece, and I pray that they will convey adequate hope. Come on, you have to make it. Is that it? It just ends on a cliffhanger like that? What the hell? But hey, at least we get 2 more tickets. I really wish these, like, the event stories weren't time limited, because this seems really important. Like, ridiculously important. Alright. We'll pick all these up. Alright, drinks menu. Autumn breeze. Mix these up. Let's see. Feedback wall. Oh, geez. Okay. We're gonna have to move a few things. Oh. Whoops. Alright. I'm cooking here. Bam! Alright. Can we do it again? Yeah, we can. Bam! And then we do this. E.G. Alright. Actually move this. Actually move this. All these years of puzzle gaming is finally coming into use. Okay, Hey, hey, hey. Candy Crush skills. I mean, it's kind of, yeah. Even though, ironically, I've never played Candy Crush. Sure. Okay. Put that there, put that there, put that there, put that there. And, pop. Oh. That's it. Spam detected. Thanks, Siri bot. Thanks for always looking after me. Even when I'm not even paying attention. Who let bro cook? Hey, look at that. Alright, we made drinks. Now we're looking at things we need to buy. Like this. That's sold out now. Oh, hey, I'll take some common keys. Premium merchandise, limited edition merchandise. Ah, those dreaded words, limited edition. Sell a total of 40 coconut snow top. Reach 420 customers. 420, blaze it. All right. Oh, wait. I think we picked something up. New portrait. Right? Wait. There it is. T-shirts. I went to Zucchero Cafe and all I got was this lousy t-shirt. The classic joke, huh? Let's see. I wonder if things... I don't think there's anything else we can actually do. Well, we'll take one look at the refitting room, see if there's anything we can, like, equip. Well, probably this. A universal crit rate attack boost. I mean, that's more fitted to my DPS characters, and Centaurace is clearly a support character. Oh wait, okay, so we can get her to level 58. 2 more levels. Plus we need to level up her weapon, which is at level 46. 47. Now our combat rating's at 73,000. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4. Blah. So top is QJ, and then surprisingly Sharkery, then Groza surprisingly, then Tololo. I mean, I have her Planeta, but it's not. I just got Planeta yesterday. How's the maid? The maid is fun. The maid is good support, as expected of a maid. She has healing. She has assists. She can help burn teams. So I just need to get Vector, and then I can start doing some real burn damage. But that's it for tonight's stream. Thank you all for joining me tonight as I finish the event story of Girls Frontline 2 Zucchero Cafe. Let's see who we can raid. And our raid message will be Coffee Raid. Coffee Raid will be our raid message. Because you can see Centaurace is enjoying a nice cup of coffee. With a very adorable heart latte art. Alright. Alright, good night everyone, and remember, stay prime.